good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're dialing in from. Welcome back to the Mind and Podcast. Unbelievably, we're up to episode number 7 now. For those that are new here, my name is Greg. I'm the host, and I get the chance to sit down with early stage entrepreneurs who have taken a leap, started something for themselves, left a corporate life behind. This week, I get the chance to sit down with Mr. Joseph Chin. Joseph is the founder of DocuAsk and also the chief community, as you would call it, wrangler of AITinkerers, a community based here in Malaysia. We covered a lot of areas in the episode with Joseph, including how he built the DocuAsk up to a couple of $100,000 MRR. And then we also got into the more raw, emotional, deep stuff, having the courage to fail, doing the reps, even when it sucks, persevering in the face of adversity, and 3 of the big pivotal moments in Joseph's life. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I did recording it. So, without further ado, this is my conversation with Mr. Joseph Chin. Enjoy. Start however you want. Is that how you want to start? With a mystical wave?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, I like it.
Hello.
Joseph Chin, welcome to... It is Joseph Chin, right?
It is Joseph Chin.
Crikey. Right, that would be a good start. So, you're Malaysian, but not really?
Yeah, so my dad is Sabahan.
No shit.
Yeah, so...
Sabahan.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool. Yeah, so the rest of the extended family all lives in KK.
Mm.
And I always get this wrong. They're either first or second generation. I can't remember which one is which. Basically, his grandmother immigrated here. Oh, no. His mother immigrated here, and then his grandfather immigrated here. So I don't know if that you can... Maybe it's like 1.5.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, so
I'm not good with generations.
They're Malaysian Chinese, and well, I am. He's my dad, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, my mom's from New Zealand, so half Scottish, half Maori. So I got the Islander blood in me.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's why you're fucking yoked.
Well, it's half that and half diet, I'd say.
Maybe. One compliment
maybe,
the other.
Maybe the burgers. Yeah, maybe that'll do it to you.
So I'm hoping to get to New Zealand. Oh, you heard... Okay, background.
Sure.
So, born in New Zealand for 6 months.
Born in New Zealand for 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's kind of.
I mean, you weren't born there for 6 months.
It was like a green card birth, like that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were there for 6 months. Then
I moved to Indonesia, and then I was living there till I was like 16.
And then
after that, Singapore. And then from there, I was sort of like traveling for a couple of years. I really didn't want to like go to university. I sort of like was super disillusioned with like education. I was like, man, fuck this. Probably because I was bad at it. Realistically speaking, I was just like, I don't want to do this thing that I'm shit at for 2 more years or like 3 more years. So I was like, whatever. Like, let me just go travel. And I would actually sort of attribute that to a friend of mine. He was like, hey man, I'm going to Canada after this.
Oh shit.
Like after we finish school, and I was like, dude, can I come with you? And it was kind of a weird conversation, but he was like, yeah, sure. And then I think this is like a super pivotal moment in like my life. It changed like a whole lot of stuff. And yeah, from there I sort of traveled a bit, went to like a few countries like South America, Southeast Asia. And yeah, I was in America for a while as well. And
why were you disillusioned by the education system?
I think it truly is just because I sucked at it. I just hated it. I was like, why do I have to like listen to this dude like talk about shit that just seems totally irrelevant? You know what I mean? Like I liked just like talking, like messing with people, and like just like hanging out. Yeah. And like so, I mean, obviously, I guess I was just kind of a moron. And then I was just like, why are we doing this? And yeah, and then so I was like, I just don't want to do this more. And I didn't know what I wanted to do either. So I was like, I don't know, sounds like I'm not going to university. And then eventually I did. Once I was kind of like, this traveling vagabond lifestyle isn't really leading anywhere. And my dad, being that he's Asian, was like,
what the fuck are you doing?
To stop. You need to stop.
Where were you at the time when he's like, brother, you need to like pack this in?
I think I was in the US.
Yeah.
And at the time, a friend of mine had gone to like a boot camp, like a coding boot camp.
Right.
So at that time, it was like kind of all the rage. There was like a bunch of boot camps around.
What year was this? I've got no idea how old you are, by the way.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so
you're like 14.
I'm like 28, so 28.
You're 28?
Yeah, 28.
It's fucking outrageous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So what year was that? Fuck, I'm not really sure. I want to say maybe 2018, 2019. Is that true? I'm not sure. I'm super bad with time, with like dates and times. So
okay,
and like chronology in my brain is like so fucked. So
yeah. Is this why you document stuff and like?
Yeah. Well, I mean this is a very new like attempt at documenting things, just because I know that I'll like forget how things really transpired, and I want to have like a somewhat accurate representation so that I can be like, oh yeah, that is what happened, instead of just being like, I think
picking bits and pieces.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that, and if you sort of like did read my post, it just is. It does feel like a mosaic where each time you do pick out different things. You know what I mean? You're like, this was an important moment. And later on, it may be that something totally different, you realize the importance of that thing. And it's hard really to say linearly which thing led to what and like why things happened, right? That's why advertisers make so much money, right? Because you're like, I want to buy that thing. And it's like, meanwhile, you've seen like this ad like 6 times and you didn't realize, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so... yeah, I don't know exactly what date it was, but I was like, let's go do a boot camp, and I got miraculously, I got into this boot camp in London,
right,
which had like a super low take rate, so I was like really excited. It was like the first time ever that I had.
Wait, was this pre or post uni?
Pre-uni.
This was pre-uni.
Yeah.
So basically, you bummed around for 2 years.
Yeah.
Didn't do education.
Yeah.
And then got into a super low acceptance.
Yeah, so that was maybe the first time I'd ever sort of like done anything like exciting academically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where I was
Yeah.
whoa, like I can do something. And I think that was really encouraging for me. It changed a lot.
Do you reckon you were too smart for the education system and you just got fucking bored?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe if I was like a complete egomaniac, I would say that. I don't think
Am I allowed to say it then?
I genuinely think that I was... I just, I didn't take things seriously. I think for me, just that like, my dad would always say like stuff like to me, he'd be like, when is the penny going to drop? And I think that the truth is that at the time the penny hadn't dropped,
right.
Proverbial penny. And so I was there just being like, I don't know what this is, but I just like hanging out with my friends. And so, yeah, that was kind of what it was to me. And it was like, I'm like, am I really going to go to this expensive, like, hangout session with my friends that I'm probably not going to do anything at? And it's like, I don't really want to do that, right?
I think it takes different stages for different people, right? When that penny kind of drops. Obviously, being from an Asian household, was there any kind of pressure from your parents? Like,
so this is the interesting thing as well. Like, a lot of stuff in my life is, like, miraculous, like, in this sense. Because I was the 5th child. And so, like, my oldest sister, my oldest brother, they kind of broke through, they broke the seal on, like, being allowed to do things, which is great. Okay. They fought a lot of those battles, whereby, like, for them, obviously, it's like, you have to do this, you have to do that. I don't care. Like, you have to do this.
Yeah.
And by the time I came around, they were like, as long as you're alive, like, I don't give a
shit. Whatever, man. We nearly left you in New Zealand.
Exactly. So I'm like, I have the grace of being the youngest. And like, the oldest sibling is always like, I can't believe that they got away with that. And like me being able to just like bum around and like do odd jobs and like travel around the world, like, basically like barely surviving and like, being in like random places is very much a result of, this kind of, I can't believe you were able to get away with that kind of vibe.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
So what kind of inspired you to ask your mate then, can I just come with you, when he was off to Canada, right?
Yeah, so Vancouver. So, I don't know. I mean, he was a good friend of mine. He's a really cool guy. And he's a super smart guy as well.
Yeah.
But also not really the education type.
Yeah.
Got a bit of the tism like me. And so, I don't know. It just seemed like a really cool thing to do. And I really have like these sort of three moments in my life which I feel are extremely pivotal, which changed a huge amount for me, and that is one of them, where I just decided that I would go with him and like not go to university, because it seems like such the default option in many sort of like high school.
It's basically what you're taught, right? You
do
this, then you do this, then you do this, then you're on your own,
and like there's no options, right? It's like what? And many of my friends sort of like at the time I didn't really see it at the time because I was also like real horse blinders. Like I wasn't a very aware person.
Yeah.
And I found it like kind of difficult to like put myself in like other people's shoes. Maybe that's a miracle in and of itself, because I never felt this feeling of like, oh, what if I'm doing the wrong thing? Because I didn't really think about what like other other people were doing.
You were just like, I'm just gonna go and do this.
Yeah, and like, I've spoken to people since, and like, you know, my friends from school, and they were like, they'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm so behind, and I've never felt that feeling. Like I've never felt the feeling that I feel like I'm behind my peers.
Why do you reckon that is?
Because I don't know, they just have different lives. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Everyone's like doing different shit, and it's because that's the shit that they like to do, I presume, and like I'm doing the shit that I like to do. Presumably also, right?
Well, that's fucking crazy, because a lot of people aren't doing the thing that they like to do. They're doing the thing that they're told to do, or think that they need to do to please other people.
Hey, I can't comment on all that, but yeah, I mean...
So for you, you're just like... Because you've heard the phrase, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're just like, no, I'm not comparing, I'm just going to go and do this.
Yeah, I mean... I don't know. I mean... I just have never really felt that. Like, I remember there was one moment where I was having a conversation with a really good friend of mine, and he was telling me that he felt super behind because he had to go for military service.
Right.
And in that moment, I felt this like brief momentary sensation of like, oh shit, maybe I'm behind all my peers. Because I was also like 2 years behind all of my peers in university.
Right.
Right, because obviously I had done all of that random useless crap. And then...
Which turns out wasn't actually useless crap, to be fair.
Maybe. And then... I briefly felt that, which was really clarifying for me and like a really crystallizing moment, because I was like, I've never felt this before. And then I went on to like no longer feel it again after that conversation. You know, I
don't like this. I don't want to feel feelings.
I was just like, whoa, like, am I behind? And then I was like, I mean, no, I'm not behind, right? I did all the shit that I wanted to do. Like, I'm super happy that I did that.
How fucking cool is that? It's very liberating.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people are just comparing, because social media is killing people's vibe, right? Everyone's like, oh, they're doing that, so I've got to do that. They're doing that, you know, always trying to keep up, and just it's kind of ruining people. Yeah,
100%. And I think also maybe I wasn't really a big social media user as well. Even now, I don't really like to post on social media. And when I do use social media, it's absolutely like 100% meme dopamine straight to the brain.
I love it.
I totally like. Sometimes I mute when I see other people's shit, because I'm like, I don't care about you. Like, this is not for me to see your stuff. This is just...
I'm not here for that.
This is for me to look at brain rot content so that I can numb my brain and fall asleep, right? You know what I mean? Like, this is the purpose of this tool.
I'm going to have to get onto your Instagram or whatever it is, because the unhinged reels that I get sent by my friends are insane. Yeah. And these guys, they're like running companies or like finance directors. The stuff that, like, if your HR saw this, it's like...
Exactly.
Fired, like, straight to jail.
Everyone secretly got a bit of it in them, right?
Oh, fuck. Everybody has.
Yeah.
That's why it goes viral, right?
That's why, like, yeah, I mean... We'll talk about this later, but this is also like a big part of like the community that I run. Yeah. It's that like it's like a place where it's like, why are we doing this whole like corporate hackathon techie bullshit? It's like we're all like ex 4chan, ex Minecraft, like, you know, like nerds.
Yeah.
And like these people, in like typically speaking, these are like the somewhat outcasts, the ones that are a little bit socially awkward and stuff like that. Yeah. And like these are the guys who've got it in them. You know what I mean? You say some non-PC shit, and like, you know, their ears perk up. You know,
like, let me send you some stuff.
And, and I know this because I'm one of them. You know what I mean? Like, and so like I mean, I think this kind of like unserious, like jokey behavior is, we can get into all this, but I think it's a part of learning. You know what I mean? Like tinkering. Why do we call ourselves AI tinkerers? Like tinkering is like the connection to the landscape, connection to the earth, like true connection to like the real stimulus that's around you. You know what I mean? Like we can go around theorizing as academics as to like how we can make money in marketing and learn masters like in like economic theory and all of this shit. But it's like these are all layers of abstraction, old layers of abstraction over the true landscape of like what is really happening in the world, right? And there's only one way that we can really get into it, and it's just by doing shit. You know, like being a tinker. Playing
around.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about this. because it's very the entrepreneurial spirit. But then you're like just finding these things you're like, I want to pull a thread on that. I want to kind of have a look at that. But it never came from the education system for you, which is fucking crazy considering what you've achieved so far.
I mean, how could it come from the education system, right? It's like the most mindless, numbing, like stale thing ever, right?
Do you think it should change?
I mean, I feel like it's like poisoned by design, right? You know what I mean? Like it's like, you know, when I was in university, we were learning like functional programming languages, like for no reason.
Right.
And you know, you're looking at your lecturers who are like, at the time you're like, I'm not an adult and you're an adult. You're a lecturer, no less. You know what I mean? Like you have this like power dynamic, this hierarchical feeling towards this person. And later on you look back at them and you're like, they're academics, you know? They are not like programmers. They're not builders necessarily. I mean, maybe they are both. They're not mutually exclusive, but it's rare that they have the time to do both. Right. And there's a quote that sort of sits in my mind where it's like, academics think that there's no difference between reality and academia, and everyone else knows that there is. You know what I mean? Like this is like, it's like so abundantly clear that like what we're learning is crazy, right? It's like, this has nothing to do with what happens in the real world. Like 99% of like what happens in the real world when you build has nothing to do with anything that you learn about optimizing algorithms and all of this crap.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that it definitely couldn't have come from like the academic system. Maybe it came from like my frustration with the academic system.
It sounds like it. Sounds like you got something there, dude. It's like, fuck the man. It's like literally rage against the machine.
Yeah, but it's not even in a rage way, you know. It's like more in like a fun way, which is that another core ethos behind like AI Tinkerers is that, at least in my conception, because it's not 100% my thing, right? It was created originally by a dude called Joe Heisberg in the U.S. and now it operates in sort of like maybe 60 plus cities with like close to like 100,000 builders worldwide. So it's like a massive movement.
Damn. Okay.
But like my version, like my idea behind it is that like the ethos is to convince people that like being a builder is already something that you are. You know, like we don't believe it intrinsically, but it is true. And I'm just trying to bridge that gap, like bring you to the not the learning or like the not the improvement, but just the understanding. Okay. Just like that moment where you're like, oh, I can do this. That's it. That's what it's all about.
How are you doing that? Because honestly, I really want to talk about how you got into the whole world of engineering, computer science, and all that kind of stuff. Has it always been a thing? But I think on the topic of AI Tinkerers, do you think it? I mean, it sounds like, this education system dumbs down the inner voice or the inner child for play and tinkering, and you're trying to bring people out of that.
This isn't really necessarily something that I've thought out loud before, but I think probably a core, sort of like a core tenet of the education system is like, I'm big, you're small, you need me to learn this thing, right? It's like, otherwise, who's paying for courses, right? Who's paying the academic fees? I am big, strong Oxford, and like, if you want to be like me, I'll teach you for a price.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is how it is. I think that the tinkering spirit is more like, no one's going to teach you shit. There's only one alma mater, and it's like the earth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is the only thing that will teach you anything. Interacting with the things that you want to do, right? And it's just reps. Like, you just have to eat shit 100 times. And then if you after those 100 times of eating shit, you will be better at the thing. And if you eat shit 10,000 times, you'll be undeniably better than everyone around you. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
There is no, I mean, yeah, and so...
There's no fear of being wrong, there's no fear of failing. Yeah. It's just like, well, I'm just going to do the thing and see what it's like. Literally just tinkering.
Yeah.
Playing, exactly. see what happens.
It's like, and I think that tinkering is different from building in the sense that building is like, you build, like, if I'm like part of an engineering team, my PM is like, you have to build this. You know what I mean? And like tinkering is more like, that's kind of cool. Yeah. I wonder what'll happen if I... And this isn't something that sort of like exists, only exists now, but it's come into harsh light because we are in the age of generative AI.
And we're back.
We are back. So we were talking about like eating shit, I think.
Yeah, and fear. Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So the tinkering side of things, no
Yeah.
fear of failure, and then rather than building and having a PM pointing you and be like, yeah, build
Yeah.
this.
It's kind of like just like pulling threads and doing things for enjoyment. And I think one other thing is this like fundamental shift where it's like we're not doing things to succeed, we're doing things to improve our mental model, right? So it's like because success is a product of a very good mental model, right? It's like if you understand a system way better than anyone else, you are the winner, right? It's like you just are better than people, and so
You're just better than
right.
people.
I mean, not like objectively speaking, but like in the domain, know. So like and I think that's like when people come up to me and they're like, oh my god, like it's so crazy that you were able to do like build this thing or do that thing or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just reps, man. Like you can do it too. Like you 100% could do this and probably better than me in many cases. But it's just that and the question that I asked them is like, why do you think that I can do it? Is it because I'm better than you? Is it because like I am like fundamentally a better person than you? That's not that, right? It can't be that. And like if you were to say like yes, it's like it's such a stark and like sad like admission, right? You know what I mean? It's like sorry, you're just better than me.
So you're a bad human, so therefore you can't do these things.
Yeah, it's not that at all, right?
But I think people see the outcome, and I don't know if they're willing to go through that pain of those
sucking.
Sucking, and then being like, oh my god, I'm shit, but then doing another rep and then doing another rep, and then just keeping on going.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about that because obviously. I wouldn't just be able to do reps at like something that anything at all, right? Yeah. Like you're not going to see me like being like I'm going to be an Olympic swimmer. This is not happening, right? I'm not a runner. Like I could probably be an okay runner, but like doing those reps sucks way more for me than it sucks for you, kind of a thing, right? You know what I mean?
Fair.
Yeah. And so like I could do the reps, but like it would suck bad.
So how did you get involved in the whole computer science coding? Was it computer science your background?
Yeah. So I did comp sci in uni.
That was after the hackathon.
Yeah, after the whole like what do you call it, like boot camp kind of thing. After that I was like, I like this is cool. But I had that fear. I had the fear inside me where it's like maybe I'm not good enough to just go and do it. And so, the classic academia moment where I'm like, maybe I need someone to teach me. And it's like I think as a kid you need that as like a confidence booster more than anything. And I think that is the biggest USP that like tertiary education has, where it's like like a big strong like old guy comes, now you're ready to hit the job market, and that's what you're paying for.
Like a situation.
You pay like you pay like whatever, like $100,000 or like some shit like that all together, and like you're doing it for like a man to be like shake your hand like good job now you're ready to take on the world.
And you could have done it over a weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you're not ready at all. You know what I mean? It's like but yeah.
How did you get so? In terms of like, where were you? You were in the US and then decided to go to London to do the boot camp?
Yeah, so...
How does that, like, to be fair, dude, that's not, like, from where I grew up...
It's very random, isn't it?
I mean, I grew up in, like, the middle of Wales.
Yeah.
So to be here is very different.
Right.
Rather than...
Whereabouts? I sort of spent some time in Swansea because a friend of mine lives in Swansea.
Okay. I won't comment on that. Okay, How much time did you spend in Swansea?
I mean, about as much as I could take. No, I'm just kidding.
Half an hour. A friend of mine sent me a video of some youths stoning a car, setting it on. Youths setting a car on fire and pushing it down a hill in Swansea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a cool place.
It's not a place. I think I've been to it a couple of times, but haven't spent any time there. I actually grew up in North Wales and then went to uni before dropping out in Aberystwyth.
Okay.
So it wasn't like it's small town vibes, right? And then it's not like I was destined to move overseas or anything like that. It's just not what people did. Like you were born in New Zealand, moved to Jakarta, went to Singapore, decided, oh fuck it, I'm going to go to Canada, and then from Canada ended up in the US and everywhere else, and then like, oh, I'm going to do a boot camp in the UK.
Yeah.
Was it a coding boot camp?
It was a coding boot camp, yeah. So the reason why it was London is sort of maybe twofold.
Okay.
One of them is that I'm from a family of 5 kids, right?
Yeah.
And we went to a school in Indonesia called the British School or the British International School.
Woo.
Yeah. So for some,
we got everywhere.
Yeah.
We are fucking
you
everywhere.
came out. We're like, trust me, this is good.
Yeah, I'm the old guy.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job.
Yeah, exactly. But so all of my siblings pretty much had gone sort of like, or opted to go to the UK. And so in some senses it felt like the safe choice, or like the choice,
Right.
based on all of that stuff, which again is pretty arbitrary. And then the other thing is, at the time I was like dating this girl, and she was like in the UK, so I was like, why don't we
stay on your
why
couch?
don't we make things work? Yeah. And so I applied to a bunch of them, and like this one in London is the one. It's called Makers Academy. This one in London, and that was a super cool experience as well. I really enjoyed that too. But all of this kind of fostered my love for like computer science, because when you the thing that I love about it, and this isn't sort of universal by any means, is that you can put time into something, like merely a time investment, and what comes out of it is a tangible, real asset which can last you forever.
Right.
And this is so like magical. It's like alchemy, right? It's like you are sitting at your computer going like this, like, and then like at the end of it, you have this thing which is an asset, and it could, I mean, in some cases, help you for like the next 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, how did that happen, right? And this is a truly, truly magical thing. And I love things where you put in time and then you get assets. So another thing that I love, which is very similar in parallel, is cooking, where it's like you take these like raw ingredients, and you invest time and like maybe love in cushy cases.
I'm gonna ask you to cook for me, right?
Yeah.
Have you got like a dish? Are you like?
I cook actually. Well, not right now because I'm like a complete like workaholic dog.
Yeah.
But like I used to cook a lot, and when I was working in London after I finished university, I sort of like was one day I sort of like was like, let me cook myself like a packed lunch, and then a friend of mine who I worked with was like, dude, can you cook that for me too? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then like by the end of it, I was cooking for like 15 people. I was like bringing in like I was like a food service. I was like bringing in like shit tons of like these Tupperware boxes, and my boss was like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, so yeah, I love cooking. I think it's a really, really cool thing as well.
What was the foray into kind of coding though? How did that actually start? What was the catalyst for that?
So yeah, this is another one of the pivotal moments in my life, where a friend of mine said that he was doing a boot camp in New York, and he was like, dude, this is super cool. And he's like, a really, really old friend of mine, and like I really respect him. And he's like, not like, he's kind of a bit like me maybe, where it's like he's not like necessarily the intelligent type, but he's like, he just hits reps all day. You know what I mean? Like he will not stop. He's like totally relentless. And so by the time you and him have done the same thing for like 3 years, you've sort of like been like kind of bored of this, and he's just like
fucking smashing it.
Yeah, and he never stops. And so that's super inspiring. And he said to me, he was like, dude, I want to do like this boot camp in New York. And then he was kind of selling it to me, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. And I kind of like was like, yeah, coding is pretty cool. Like it's like this thing that's kind of coming up and about, and software engineering is big. And I was like, fuck it, like let me just do it. I think this is cool. And that was kind of the beginning of it, because from there I was like a nerd. I'd like messed around with computers and stuff like that, but I never really thought that like coding is what I want to do necessarily, or being a software engineer is what I want to do. There was a time where I thought I wanted to study psychology, which is like so cringe. It's like it's like I just want to understand you. Like, dude,
that is so there's a question I ponder quite a lot. The first one is, oh my god, can you imagine if you spilt it all over my chair? My TV chair.
That'd be horrible.
The first thing I ponder is, what is the universe expanding into?
Okay.
And the second one is, why do people do the things that they do?
Right.
So why are you hurting my feelings right now? Like, what kind of psychology? But wait,
did you study psychology?
No.
Oh, okay.
I studied accounting and finance.
Oh, so like the opposite.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah. But I lasted 2 years.
Okay, fair enough.
And I know it was one of those, dude, I studied an aberist with accounting and finance. You can see why, right?
Yeah.
Top of the table, like going down like, oh, okay, I'll study that there.
Yeah.
You know what my brother studied?
What?
Accounting and finance.
Yep.
Do you know where he studied?
Same place.
Aberystwyth. I was like, because it's just like, I'll just follow that. I just don't need to think about it.
Yeah. Because it's like high EV, basically. Like, that's the kind of vibe, right? It's just like how could I go wrong?
Yeah.
I'm doing the safest possible thing.
It was one of the, I was just like, oh. And then, I started to realize that it just wasn't just wasn't for me. It's like, this isn't going to happen. And it kind of dropped out.
Hey, man. I mean, at least it didn't take you 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's a blessing, I think.
It is. And then I was lucky enough to come over here when I was 24. So,
crazy.
Yeah.
That must have been a big shift.
It was, to be fair. And I wasn't very good at my job when I got here. So.
But you are now.
I wouldn't say so. Always a work in progress.
Yeah.
Just you talk about reps?
Yeah.
Just reps on reps. 'Cause I was a sales development rep.
Right. And sales is like, you
Reps.
know, one of the biggest things where it's reps, right?
And I was, I started to cover, because I was bad at my job and then I got okay at my job. And then through process, I became the best at my job.
Yeah.
And I just say that because it's the process. It wasn't me as an individual because I'm just fucking better than everyone, but it was the reps.
Right.
So then I started to cover more markets, which would basically mean I could start cold calling people at 6 a.m.
Right.
through to 10 p.m. And it was just literally just reps.
Yeah, man. And like sales reps are like the biggest shit-eating reps ever, right?
Dude.
They're like the most heart-wrenching, like soul-crushing
You
reps
call
you can
someone
imagine.
and like, hey, is that Joseph? Joseph, hey, there's Greg over at this place. And you're like, fucking stop calling me.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, I'm so sorry, don't judge me.
Like you start to believe that fundamentally people hate you.
Yeah.
Because of so many calls where they're just like, fuck you.
So, I mean, cold outreach is like, I don't know, a 3% success rate.
Yeah.
So 97% of the calls that you make are either like not interested, not around, bad data. So you're just getting shit on all the time, except for that one person goes, hey, this sounds really good. You sound like a really nice person.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm validated. I've been
yeah.
validated this one time today. It's like, fuck. But yeah, it's just reps.
Worth it.
Yeah, it's just reps. So people see the outcome. It's like, oh, I've seen what you built.
You're so charismatic. Then people always say that, right?
Oh, but you can do it because you can talk a lot. No,
Yeah.
I'd sit at home and I read all the fucking time about everything always.
Exactly.
And this is despite academia.
Yeah.
I wasn't academic. I was fortunate because I could pass exams.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, education for me was just like, this is terrible. Somebody stood up at the front, right, being like, accounting.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
But then I study so much now and tinker and try and learn and test so much compared to,
yeah.
you know.
It's one of those like flips, right, where it's like extrinsic and intrinsic, right?
Yeah.
Like this intrinsic desire to learn is such a trump card when it comes to education, right? It's like, I want to learn about this. I mean, why? I guess maybe it's aligned with your interests or whatever, but like versus you have to learn this. And it's like, why do I have to know this?
Yep.
Yeah, like for what reason?
So just yesterday, I was using Pythagoras' theorem. Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't.
Exactly.
It's like, or the quadratic equation. When was the last time you used a quadratic equation?
I don't know if there ever is a time that I've done that. I mean, other than in class.
I'm going to think about this quite a lot now.
Yeah. I mean, there are sort of like graphing problems that maybe you would do, but like, you know, is it going to be like, yeah, I don't know. It's just really not a thing. And like, if it was a thing, you wouldn't do it. You would just get some dude to do it, right? You know what I mean?
I'd be like, hey Joseph, can you? That'd be me. I'm like, fuck, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So this was you mentioned. You said you got 3 pivotal moments. Number 1 was going to Canada.
Yeah.
Being like, fuck this. Number 2 was this idea of boot camp.
The boot camp.
Yeah. But actually, it is a free trip to the UK to crash on your then girlfriend's couches.
Yeah, and then number 3 was so I was working in London as like a software engineer, and GPT-3 comes out, and like I'm reading sort of like attention is all you need, and I'm fucking with the UI, and I'm like, dude, my life is over. Like in my heart, I'm like, my life is over, my job is over, and like I'm living with like a couple of roommates at the time, and I'm like in their room, like, dude, you have no idea what I just did. Like, I just did this, and then it came out with this. Like, this is so crazy. And then they're just like, dude, we're trying to sleep. Like,
it is 4 o'clock in the morning.
Go away.
Get out of my room.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, this is not right. Like, something here is not sitting right with me. And then a friend of mine, who was living in New York at the time, he was like, dude, he was feeling exactly the same way. And he was like, dude, we should go and like build a company together. We should go and like do something together. And he was like, we've been like away from like our families for so long, and like, COVID and all this shit, and like blah blah blah. And I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, this is perfect, and he kind of was this catalyzing force which like made me take the leap. Now we don't work together anymore, but like I still attribute it as like such an important moment, because I don't think that I would have had the strength or the courage to do it by myself.
Really?
But because he said that, this catalyzing, there's this, this like this activation force where I was able to just jump over that one hurdle, and that's the only hurdle I needed to jump over, right? Because once I was in KL, it's like that thing where it's like you don't have to like do the whole workout. All you have to do is show up at the gym, right? You know what I mean? It's like, and all I had to do was be in KL, like near my parents, with the idea that I'm going to do this. And it's like, well, fuck, I'm here now. I might as well just do this stuff, right? And so, massive pivotal moment that changed everything. Like, everything about, like, what I think and, like, how I interact with things. I mean, before that, I thought very differently about all of this stuff, so...
I mean, that's a massive shift, right? Because you hadn't really spent any time here, and then you came here. We were just talking before this, right? Just a couple of years. I'm 13 years ahead of you. Like, I've actually been in Malaysia. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting, like, because you were in a full-time job in the UK, and you were like, well, I'm going to quit and start doing my own thing.
Which is pretty crazy, right? Like, a lot of people said that was crazy, but at the time, I didn't feel crazy at all.
Isn't it strange?
Yeah.
Why do you reckon that is?
I don't know. I think it's the same thing where, like, I'm not a comparer. So I'm like, this is what I want to do. And, like, I don't really care.
No fear?
Bit of fear, which is why I was sort of, like, not courageous enough to do it on my own. But because I was sort of, like, the intoxicating, like, excitement of, like, we're going to build a company together. Like, this, like, thing where it's like, we're going to be rich. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we'd have all these talks, like, one day when we hit this, like, we're going to buy watches for our dads and shit like that. And it's like, this intoxicating excitement. And also, like, this lack of, like, too much comparison with my peers. I just be like, I'm gonna do this, and like when I make it, like we can like hang out together. You know what I mean? Like once I'm done with this kind of a thing. You know what I mean? And like I mean, thinking back, it like almost makes me a little bit emotional because it's like such a crazy moment in my life that I think if I didn't take that fork in the road, if I had taken like the left fork instead, how different would my life be? It's crazy to even imagine, right?
I mean, this for these kind of moments with people. I mean, obviously, having these conversations is to really understand. Like, a lot of people have taken the left fork, because they either lack that belief in themselves. There's too much fear. There's too much responsibility. Even though you had this catalyzing force, like with your friend, just saying, "Hey, let's build a company."
Yeah.
I mean, it still takes a massive amount of courage from your side to be like, "Hey, fuck it, let's do it." And by the way, you're living at the moment in the UK, right? You're living in London. It's not like if you quit your job, it's like, well, I'm going to stay like in this place for like financial support or whatever. Like, how is... I mean, looking back on it, you said it's a super pivotal moment, and it just seems like you can connect the dots quite clearly when you look back. But in the moment... how the moment... honestly, I want to know how you do that and be like... Because it was a split second, in the moment decision, right? I'm going to do it.
Yeah, so... man, I guess once I said like yes to like my friend, at that point like it was done, in the sense that I wasn't gonna back out and like leave him out to dry. You know what I mean? So this was a big thing.
It's like a commitment to something.
Where which is huge, right? That's why people do like commitment agreements and stuff like that. It's like you can let yourself down all day long, every day, right? That's fine. Wake up in the morning, you're like, I don't want to go to the gym, right? Yeah, exactly. But letting someone else down sucks, Yeah. And so I think that was a big part of it for sure. Like, you say that it took a lot of courage, but really all it took was the courage to say yes and agree to the guy. And, I'm a bit of a dreamer as well. So, like, he's like, dude, let's do this. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, let's do this. And it's, like, so intoxicating. Like, this other guy who's, like, feeling all the same things that I'm feeling. Like, we're, like... the other thing is that, like, my parents live here, and so it's not like I was jumping into, like, out of the pan and into the fire. It's like there is a bit of a safety net here, which is, like, I've been relying on for, like, ages. And also, like, I had this feeling which was, hey, man, like, I haven't, I was blocked from seeing my parents in person for, like, 2 years. And so I'm thinking, like, if that cadence continues, like, how many times will I see them before they die, right? And... that's such a it's like such a gut-wrenching feeling. So it's like two birds with one stone, like, try this thing out, see if like the robots are really coming for my job, and also be next to like these people that I love, that I want to be around for the good part of their life, not when they're like, can you carry me to the bathroom, like, like, this sucks, like, and so it was all of these things together. And like it was more of the thinking of like the benefits, you know, the upside, rather than thinking like, oh, what am I leaving behind? The way I saw it is that like, if I really wanted to, I could go back.
Yeah.
You know, if I really was like, okay, this was a complete catastrophic failure, I can go back. So like whatever. But I really wasn't even thinking like that at all. You know, like I wasn't like, you know, this is a contingency, you know, like it was just like, you know,
let's go.
And like I'll give you I'll give you sort of like a practical sort of insight to how I was thinking. I wasn't just like, let's go and like move and like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen. Me and my friend were like, dude, how about this? You come to London and we'll drive my shitty little Skoda down through Kazakhstan to Malaysia. That was like the level of like thought that was going through our brains. It wasn't like, oh my god, what if we like lose our job, or like what if we like lose our stability. It was like, I wonder if we can get through Kazakhstan without dying.
It's not even lateral thinking. It's like, oh, what if we don't have money? Yeah. Like, it's like, what if we get shot in Kazakhstan?
Legit. So this was like the level of like dreaming that we were at that time. And I think it also comes from like a disgusting like sort of like egotistical self-belief, where it's like I'm a real believer that things will go right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, have you always been an optimist?
Definitely, yeah. I really believe that things will go right.
Where does that come from?
I think it probably comes from like my parents. Yeah. Like I can't fault them at all. Like they are like the two like, well, they're like polar opposites for starters, and like they're like the two most loving people. Like, you know, I can even imagine. You know, and like my mom has always been there. Like, you know, saying that, you know, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're hardworking, like all of these good things. And like if I fail at something, it's never been like a point of like, you know, what, like, you know, why did you do that? Like, you know, you're ruining my perception. You know, you're ruining my, you know, it's never been like that. And so I think it definitely comes from my mom, but also like from my dad, who's like been a real rock like in my life. Yeah. Where like the reason why I don't feel the same like, oh shit, what if I fuck up, is that I know that like whether it's like mentally or, you know, like just to like talk to, or, you know, just to make sure that I'm okay, like my dad is like there. Yeah. And so
have you always had a real strong bond with your parents?
Not always.
Yeah.
Like there have been times in my life where like, you know, you sort of feel a bit like, you know, why is my, you know, dad or my mom like behaving in this way? And like I think it comes with sort of like understanding that they are just people doing this life thing for the first time as well. Yeah. You know, and I think once I really fully sort of like got to grips with that, I realized just how amazingly they are doing life. You know, like they are really doing things to the best of their ability. They're like maxing it out. And nice. Like, you know, I do have this like core feeling that like everything that my parents do, they do it for like my siblings, like all of us, like our family.
That's fucking cool.
And I yeah. So definitely that feeling comes from them. And from like my siblings and stuff like that. I really can't attribute it to myself. And so, yeah, I'm a big believer that things will go right, and that's why, you know, I was down to drive through Kazakhstan. I was on it.
Did you end up driving through Kazakhstan?
We did not in the end.
Yeah. Can you imagine driving through in a shitty Skoda and then going into lockdown and just stuck somewhere?
Yeah, exactly. And so we didn't end up doing that. But yeah, it was a cool idea at the time. And yeah, I mean, from there, it's just been a crazy, crazy ride. You know, like Kale is such an awesome place. We were talking about this earlier, but it's just, yeah, pound for pound, if you take everything into consideration, it's like, I would say it's up there, like top 5 best cities in the world. You know what I mean? It's freaking awesome. Like I've lived in like New York, London, like that's where everyone wants to live, right? They're like, I want to live in London. London is ass. Compared to, you know what I mean? Compared to Kale, like in London, you're like, oh, you want to meet up with me? It's like, oh, sorry, I'm free in 2 weeks. And it's like, okay, cool, let's book a restaurant. It's like, you have to book like 6 weeks in advance or some shit like that. You know what I mean? It's like, this sucks. And so it's like, you can't even hang out with your friends. It's so busy. Everything's so expensive. Yeah. And like, what do you get in return? It's like the restaurants are like pretty good. Like that's it, you know? And so it's just like,
I haven't spent much time in London. I think I've been to London less than 10 times. Right. In my life, and wow. Any time I've been there, I've been like, okay, I get it. Yeah. You know, it's busy, lots happening. Yeah. But it's not for me.
Yeah, it's good if you're like absolutely bawling out of your mind, right? You know, like that. Then it's like probably pretty.
You mean like
good.
buying watches for your dads and stuff like that? So you're gonna go back there and be fucking shit up.
Like, I'll have one watch, please.
For everybody.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So yeah, no, I love KL, and yeah, I mean, I think a big part of the journey being here in KL has been sort of like a love story between me and the city and the country, you know?
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, I was like, oh, like I'm here to see my parents and like be around my parents, and like the place doesn't matter. But as I've sort of been here for like a couple of years, it's more so like I feel like I want Malaysia to improve. Like I want to be a part of like the tech scene growing, and Malaysia like really being put on the map from like, because the people are so talented, they're so intelligent, and they're so cool. And
so where are you finding these people? Because there's a rhetoric around like a brain drain, talent's hard to find, got to look elsewhere, got to look outside. Yeah. But then it sounds like I was reading about AI tinkerers, and I want to hear about your super cringe kind of situation for your first AI tinkerers. But then you're like, well, we have, over 100 people turning up, super smart, creative, want to solve problems, want to think bigger. How do they find you?
Yeah, I mean...
Or rather, how do you find them?
So, honestly, I mean, again, I hate to sort of like harp on about this, but I think it's like miraculous coincidence more than anything.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I'm going to make a note to answer your question of where am I finding like the talent.
Yeah.
But I'll sort of give you a bit of context overall, which is that in the beginning, it was like me just being like, I'm kind of lonely, like I'm like working these like, 12, 14, sometimes 16-hour days.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just like sitting here at my computer like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's like, this is so lame.
You turn around and speak to your friends like, oh, I don't have anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. I'm like saying like there's like dust everywhere. When they let you wake up from like the the dream and like everything's covered in like sheets and you're like in this decrepit house. Like that's like kind of like what it was. I was like, wow. I'm looking around like some like schizo patient. And so I was like, I want to do something cool. And so we sort of gave this AI Tinkerers thing a shot because knew of like Joe and like the stuff that he was doing, thought it was really, really cool.
Yeah. And
I think we were a little early stage, like as in he was still like a lot smaller back then. And I was like, whatever, like let's just do something fun and see what happens. And it took like maybe over a month to like secure a place because no one would like take me seriously. I was like some random dude, right? Yeah. And it's like, hey, can I please have your place? And they're like, why? And I'm like, oh, I like to hang out with people. You know what I mean? It's like,
hell of a pitch.
Yeah. And so it took ages, and eventually we got like this spot in like MMU, Cyberjaya, so way out in the middle of nowhere, right? Well, back then, but now it's kind of far out, and it was like on Mother's Day. And like, I was like, oh my God. And so we had like maybe 30 people sign up because I was like religiously posting everywhere. I would like post it like on like Developer Kaki, like all kinds of like Facebook groups, every WhatsApp group I was a part of. Like, please come to my event, it'll be really fun. Go like 30 people sign up, and then like 5 people show up. So it's like 6 people including me.
Oh, it's 6 people including you?
Yeah, including me. Which I was like 18% of the whole event.
Okay. Just before we kind of get onto that event, when you decided to move back here, because you decided that you were going to leave let's not say decided to leave your job, decided to start a company with your friend.
Yeah.
Were you like, well, I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to move back to KL, and your friend came to Malaysia as well? Is that...
So his parents live in Singapore.
Right.
So he was in Singapore and I was in KL.
Yeah.
And we were kind of like working like remotely together. And so we were both doing the same thing. So that goes back to like him and I thinking the same stuff, where it's like, when are we going to see our parents? Like, how often will we see them? And that really gelled with me, and I was like, cool, man. Like, because he's thinking this stuff, we must have like something, like we must see the world the same way.
Yeah, there's something there. Let's try and build something.
Yeah.
So then basically you decided to move back, and then you were building this thing, and then just like building it on your own. Sad times. Yeah.
We were building like a whole bunch of crap at the time, and like we were tinkering essentially. But that was before I even sort of had conceptualized this thing. It's just like, oh, is this gonna work? Is that gonna work? Oh, dude, we should try this. Like we were like reading papers, like trying to understand like the fundamentals of like machine learning and AI and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially surrounding like diffusion models and like where did transformers come from, and like other sort of like NLP or like like language generation models. Back then they weren't called like sequence to sequence models, but they are today. And yeah, that was really cool. And then eventually we sort of like parted ways.
Right.
And that's when like lonely times came, you know, like that's when I was like a little bit like, oh, like this is not as fun as it was before. You know what I mean? And yeah, and so that's what led to the event, and like the most embarrassing like sort of event or
Super
thing
cringe,
I've ever done.
6
Yeah,
people.
super cringe. And like it's so funny, like my girlfriend like went out and got us pizza. And like, you know, even she was a bit like, oh, I'll put on a brave face, but you know what I mean? Like,
Good job, at least you did it.
Yeah. And like the format of AI Tinkerers, like fundamentally is like a demo night. So it's like, hey, let me show you what I've been working on. So I was like, so guys, this is what it'll be like. And then I demoed like DocuAsk, like at that time. And, and then I was like, so yeah, like maybe you guys next time will do something like this. But for now, we don't have any demos tonight. So let's just hang out. And it was super embarrassing, like super like, and I hate public speaking. I'm like not good at this kind of stuff at all. And so I was just like, I drove home and my girlfriend's like, that was terrible. And I was like, I'm never doing that ever again in my entire life.
Which is outrageous compared to what it is right now. But I mean, to be fair, you ran an event and that 5 people showed up, not 0.
Yeah, which is huge, right? I mean, at the time, it didn't feel huge.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, yeah, these grand plans and ambitions.
Yeah.
It's the optimist in you.
Yeah.
But those kind of, the 5 that came down, are they still coming?
Yeah, some of them are still around with us, which is crazy.
I
Like, so
that.
cool, right?
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, I remember, actually, this isn't some, I haven't thought about this for ages. Like, this is, like, I'm pulling this out of the archives right now. But, like, I remember being, like, looking at the thing, like, being like, oh, 30 people should be coming. But knowing in my head that it's, like Mother's Day or whatever.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, oh, before we start, let me just go down and like make sure that no one's lost. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so cringe, man. It's like, I just want to make sure that everyone's here. It's like 5 people like, okay.
So this is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
And then, yeah.
it's so good though. Because you did it anyway, and then you ran another one.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God. I'm feeling like the residual cringe. Just thinking
It's okay.
about it.
It's emanating from your body, and I fucking love it. It's like 2nd degree kind of cringe on this.
And yeah, so then I had this conversation with like a couple of guys because I had been introduced through like, you know, some other random conversation. The super cool guys, and one of them was like, "Yo, like we can do this like in Moneyline." And at the time, I didn't know what Moneyline was.
Right.
So I was like, "Yeah, sure, like whatever, like a place is a place." You know what I mean? Like, cool. Like, lo and behold, like Moneyline is like this amazing company with like a beautiful office in TRX, and like they're like the first company to get like listed on the New York Stock Exchange from Malaysia. You know, like I'm like, holy frick, man, what the hell?
It's like, as luck would have it.
Yeah, exactly. So insane. And yeah, so actually when I wrote that post like about like all of this stuff, I sent it to them, like those 2 guys, Ben and Wei, and I was like, dude, like, I don't even think you guys realize how impactful your contribution to my story has been. You know what I mean? It's one of these things where they were just like, oh yeah, like maybe we could do a Moneyline, like forget about it. You know what I mean? Like never think about this moment ever again. And for me, it's like this core, like such a valuable contribution to the story.
I think that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
These small things that just like, they just fucking booming from nowhere. And it's like, okay, this was massive.
It's like discovered efficiency, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you look for things that one guy doesn't care about at all, which is like, yeah, sure, I'll like put you in touch with my HR guy and like, or like my HR people and get you in the office. I don't fucking care. As long as it does, you know what I mean? As long as I don't have to do much work, I'll just send an email. And I'm like, dude, this is life changing for me. So like this arbitrage, like, you know what I mean? This value arbitrage is like, you know, like so crazy. And these are the things that I think as a solo founder, it's important to look for as well, to understand these arbitrages.
I think these ones, I think when you show up for people and you just want to bring value and just want to do cool shit with the intention of that's it, it's like, okay, how can I help?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you got like, yeah, you can use Moneyline, it's fine. Here you go. I'll just I'll do an email. It took me 2 seconds.
Yeah. So, man, like, so blessed. Like, that's such a crazy moment as well. And then from there, we were like prompt Olympics like right away, which is like fucking nuts.
I want to know about this. Was this through AI Tinkerers as well, the prompt Olympics?
Yeah. So another guy who runs AI Tinkerers New York, a guy called Jonathan Murray, really cool guy, super intelligent. He I sort of spoke on the phone with him briefly, and he was like, dude, I ran this cool thing called the Prompt Olympics, and he had like a bunch of sponsors who were like tech sponsors and like also like monetary sponsors who were like building out this stuff, and they made this like competition out of it, and they called it the Prompt Olympics. And I was like, dude, that's so cool. I was like, I want to do it. And I'm like sitting there, you know, again in like the decrepit room, like, I want to do it. Like, no,
you're like, I want to do it. I don't think I want to do it. I want to do it.
It's like, guys, we should do it. It's like nobody around me.
Just like this voice, like,
yeah.
Oh man.
So I was like, fuck it, like, let's do it. And then so I got the okay. I think I was in New Zealand, so I was like visiting my grandmother, and like AWS was like, or AWS user group was like, we're down, and like all this stuff, and I'm like, holy shit. Like at the time I was like never spoken to like guys of like this caliber kind of thing, you know. In my mind it's like, wow, like this is amazing, I'm just me and they're them, you know, like that kind of feeling.
Yeah.
And so I was like, holy crap, like I've got to make this happen now. And like nothing was built. It was like nothing at all. Like there wasn't a plan.
You are both right now. You are both a product manager and a salesperson.
Yeah.
You're promising everything.
Yeah.
Like over promising, under delivering. It's like, yeah, it's in a roadmap, bro.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about
And
it.
I turned to myself, who's actually building it, and I'm like, dude, fuck you, man. Like, why did you tell them that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so.
So good.
Yeah. And so like I'm like, frick, man. Like, I mean, up until then I had just been like, you know, it's like, it's really cool. Like we did it in New York. It's the Prompt Olympics. You know, people are like, oh, let's do it, the Prompt Olympics. And then I'm like, I don't even really know what they did.
Hang on a minute. So how long after the super cringe 6-person event, you were like,
so we
hey,
were like,
I want to do this again.
Yeah, I would say immediately after, as in
Which
like
is-
the next day.
Like, brother, that's fucking outrageous. Because you were like, on your drive home, both your missus is saying, you know what, that's super cringe, and you're
Yeah.
like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
And then you're on the phone with a guy called Jonathan Murray, and you're like,
Yeah.
Prompt Olympics, and you're like, yeah, fuck, let's do it.
Yeah.
That
I
that
don't
is like
know.
literally the definition of resilience. That rebound to baseline is like, oh yeah, I'm positive again. Let's fucking go. Like how? What the fuck? How do you do that?
I don't know, actually. I mean, I really don't know, because
Is it just like this core belief? It's like there is something here. I just need to find a way. It
So-
sounds like you're not just tinkering with tech, but you're tinkering with trying to make shit work.
Yeah,
Life,
for sure.
event, like, just like, okay, it's fine.
for sure I was like tinkering to make shit work. I think maybe because I can think of like core events after that, like
Yeah.
maybe like after the Prompt Olympics and like in sort of like subsequent events,
Yeah.
where I was looking at this and I was like, you know, I was like enamored. I was like, wow, like this really could be something.
Yeah.
And that's what like made me feel like this drive, where it's like, you know, but between those two, I don't know. Honestly, I think it could have just been like maybe me being like completely delusional, being like, no, but maybe it was just because it was Mother's Day, you know what I mean? Like this kind of thing. And I was like, maybe I'll just try it one more time and just see, you know,
Yeah.
like just see what happens. Because at the end of the day, it's like whatever. And at the time, also today, like I have this like obsession with reps, with the idea of reps.
Yeah.
And I had been doing like tons of cold outreach to like these guys, like trying to call, like trying to text, and I didn't know anything about what cold outreach really was, because I'm like a tech guy, right? So I don't know anything, but I'm just like sending emails, like reading books about what kind of emails to send to people, just like going crazy on like VCs, all kinds of companies, like just trying to find something, until eventually I had this conversation with Ben and Way, and they were like, cool, Money Lion, and then we also
How did you get connected with Ben and Way?
yeah.
Are they both Moneyline, by the way?
So one of them is Moneyline, and the other, but they both went to uni together in the U.S. Right after they sort of like got me the green light, and then they wanted to go and like do like YC stuff. So they're like really cool guys, like in and of themselves, like they're super cool guys. But so Ben is like a super young but like somewhat prolific like blogger / writer,
Right.
and he has like a small social media following, and like he writes for a couple of like cool publications, like one in Japan and stuff like that. And so on Twitter, I just messaged him. I was like, "Hey man, you're in KL, like building stuff, and like I'd like to build stuff too." And I was like, "We should like have a coffee or something." And that's kind of that tiny little conversation led to like, you know what I mean? It like,
I think this is what people miss.
yeah,
Just this idea of you have a belief, you've got an idea, and then they just kind of sit on it rather than acting on it. It's like, okay, I'm gonna act right now and just shoot a DM to somebody, because I forget, is it? You're gonna have to forgive me on this because I'm a fucking noob. Langchain?
Light Chain, Harrison Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same thing happened with
same
you,
thing. Yeah, same
right?
thing.
It's just like,
Yeah.
I've got this thing, I've got an idea, I'm gonna message somebody about it.
Yeah.
And shit or bust. It's like, if it doesn't work out, I don't care.
And the thing is that was actually my my like partner at the time, like, as in my friend. He was like, dude, like, we should just send this. And I was like, oh my god, I should do that. You know what I mean? And he's like, let's do it. And then we did it. Yeah. And then like 2 days later, he's like, dude, he replied. Like, I can remember. It's like, it's giving me goosebumps just thinking about it, because like, it was such a crazy thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny that like throughout the like trajectory of like working on stuff like this, like the things that give you goosebumps are bigger and bigger. So like the thing in the beginning is like, you get a response from someone. It's like, if like today someone responded to me on Twitter, I'd be like, okay, and like, you know what I mean? It's like such a like this small insignificant thing, but at that moment I was like, oh my god, like it felt like maybe this is something. You know what I mean? Like that feeling of like these small like whispered like sparks of joy, like that are like, you know, convincing you of this thing that you are like wanting to believe.
Yeah.
You know, and over time those incidences or those occurrences that are making you feel that belief more deeply have to be bigger, you know, bigger and bigger. But like in the beginning, you're so green and so cute, right? Because like I thought, oh my god, like this is so cool. Yeah.
Dude, I still get that now. I'm 39 years old, and if somebody replies saying, hey, this is really good, I'm like, oh my god, it's really good.
Yeah. But that means that you're starting a new thing, right? You know what I mean? It's a part of, like, maybe you're doing a new thing, and then you have that such a small basis of belief that like when you get like some affirmation, you're like, oh my god. But like if you were like a big ass, like, you know, like if you're like super good at that thing and like some dude is like, you're doing great, you're like, I know, like, you know, it's only if exactly, right. And so it's like, and it's like an ego thing as well, and maybe it's not a good thing really, but I think it's kind of like part of like human nature, right?
So, you know, one incident comes to mind with regards to kind of that moment, and this sounds like I'm blowing smoke as well. When we had a conversation virtually, and I was telling you about, okay, heard from Ashwin, really like to have a chat with you on the podcast, you know, just understand more about your story. And I hadn't read anything about you online at the time. And then when we were having a conversation, I was like, this motherfucker. I was like, I want to have a conversation with him. I want to understand. And it was one of those moments where I was like, I can't wait for him to sit down and have a chat.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
Really. And I was like, I just want to know what the fuck. And I just want to have a conversation with this guy. And I was like, I was proper excited.
That's really flattering.
And I remember coming out, and then I spoke to Els, who you met, and I was like, I just spoke to this guy, and I don't know why, but I'm really excited about having him on the pod. I just really want to talk to him. I want to know like his background, understand like where he's going, this optimism, this drive, like making these decisions, like, oh, I'm going to move here, I'm going to do this. I'm like, and I was reading through what you wrote, and I was like, this is fucking legit.
Bro, that's so cool, man. That's so nice of you to say.
But it's just like, I think it's just having conversations with interesting people, and it felt great to kind of have that. And then all this morning, I'm like, what am I going to ask him? What am I going to say? Just stress and anxiety.
No way.
Yeah, it's always the same. And it's like, oh, you know, what if I don't do a good job? Like,
right.
What if I don't? So, you know, I'm like last night, I'm like just reading through all your stuff. And by the way, your AI voice on your blog, you've only got it on one of them.
Yeah.
Is that actually AI?
It is.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
Because I was like, is this AI? Because it wasn't on all of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just on this one. I was like, he's just talking.
The other ones were like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really a content creator personally, right. So like I find it really hard to write that stuff. Like I'm not a writer.
Unfortunately, you are, and whether you like it or not, like the way you tell the story and the flow of it. I don't know if you've used Claude or whatever it is to help you like write it.
Yeah, I used shit tons of AI.
I was like, it's fucking great.
Really?
Yeah. Just kind of reading through it. I was like,
that.
wow, and. Yeah. So I was actually listening to it again this morning whilst I was washing the dishes.
Yeah. And
I was like, okay, pause it, make a note of that, pause it, make a note of that.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I'm like, okay, I need to ask him 50,000 questions. And then you start stressing on it when we're going to ask them, like, it's like, oh my God. But it's just these kind of small moments, like, this is why I wanted to start this thing in the first place.
Right, man, 100%. And like I really like I think that yeah, I've become like so much more of like a lover of like storytelling. I think not as like a creator by any means, but more as like a consumer. And I think that storytelling is so core, right? You know, it's like it is like our DNA, our essence, right? As humans, it's like how do you understand things? Like you know, we have so many layers of abstraction on top, but core fundamentals is just stories, right? And like they're so compelling, so much more compelling than information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like this is the thing, and then like you know if it's like I convinced my mom to like let me do this thing or whatever, you know, you're just like, whoa, like so much more engaged.
Yeah.
And as a result, it's almost like this door opens and like information can enter. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I think with that idea of the storytelling, and I think we spoke about this, is like you can interpret it, as a listener, you can interpret it how you want.
Right.
And it's like, oh, he did this. That resonates with me in this way, and I'm going to go off on this. I decided this metaphor used with the left fork, right fork. And it's like, oh my God, it's like there's people out there that are at this pivotal moment right now. Joseph made this choice, and his thought was, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because I want to do it. And my backup plan is, well...
Yeah. When you say it like that, it sounds like really stupid.
So I left a job recently, not to go and join another job, is because it was something I wanted to do, and doing this and then running my own business. But it's when you know what you want to do, or you have that belief, then you just kind of do it.
100%.
And then the thing, like limiting beliefs, the devil on your shoulder, it's like, oh my God, how do you... And this is what I'm interested to learn about you, is like 5-6 people showed up next however many days you're on the phone to this guy, and it's like, yeah, I just want to do this. Because just like, well, I believe this, and let's just try. Let's experiment. And there's no ego, which is weird. Do you feel that you don't have an ego? Do you not care that, like, oh, people are going to judge me because only 5-6 people turned up? Because it's that, from an observer, you're just like, oh, well, let's just fucking do it anyway. And then you do something else.
I feel like maybe I dissociate myself a little bit from it. Like, I feel like, even now, I feel that AI Tinkers is this movement inside of people, you know? And, like, that's the most compelling thing for me, is that, like, this might be skipping ahead a couple of chapters, but after Prompt Olympics, people came up to me and they were like, dude, like, this is like the coolest event that I've been to in Malaysia. And I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, I was like super taken aback, because the whole time I was like really internally focused. Like, what if they judge me? What if my thing doesn't work? What if it breaks? And then like people like, dude, I had a great time. And I'm like, oh, you had a great time. And I'm like, whoa.
Oh, and you're like, oh, that was why I did this.
And it's like absolved, you know, absolved of all guilt and shame. And so like, and so really, like, it feels like this movement inside of the hearts of like people who are courageous enough, willing enough to like take a chance. And like those are the ones who are most like inspiring for me. Like, I see people like that and I'm like, holy crap, like, you're so awesome. Like, you know what I mean? And like that's what I love about it. And so I don't feel like, you know, what if people judge me? I'm just like, you know, what if I don't do this? And like I hate it for, like, I'm super sad forever. You know what I mean? Like it's like what's the worst that can happen? Like, people will be like, that was lame. I'll be like, okay, cool, I'll do it different next time. You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
It's just basically feedback. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to do it better next time, rather than this is terrible, oh, I'm not going to do it again.
And how do you think that people get to awesome events? It's not by like sitting in their basement being like, you know what I should do? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not that at all. It's like doing it and then later on like having retrospectives and being like, oh, that didn't work. Maybe I need someone handling this, or maybe I need to organize this a little bit better. And then you get to a point where, whoa, that was really well organized. And it's only by, again, eating shit for reps. You know what I mean?
How do you know where to put the reps in for you?
Good question. I'm a very sort of like, so I call myself a very like data-driven person, but I'm also a very instinct-driven person too.
Sorry, I was going to say, you sure about that? Because you're like, hey man, can I come to Canada? Oh, I'm going to go to London.
The data has told me, you know.
Honestly, it sounds like, are you sure you're not just a feels guy? Like,
I am very like instinct driven, and so I think that it has to be some like connection between like feeling important, or like feeling like this is like providing value to someone, not necessarily me, but like it is just something that is good, like you know, objectively, intrinsically good. And also it's like sparking joy with me, in the sense that like when I'm like I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes like having events is like sucks ass. So like all the time you're just like, oh, do I have to do this? Like, you know, do I really have to like build out this entire spec and like this whole like project and like organize the operations for this hackathon and like all the stuff? But like in my heart of hearts, I'm like, dude, the people are so amazing. You know, like you owe it to these people to like let them see how amazing they are. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, this is just basically me being like, here's a mirror, and then like they're like, whoa, I'm awesome, and like, you know, the mirror's just like sucks ass to pick up, like put in front of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's that. They're basically a collection of those two things.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and I think that, you know, a big part of being like the data driven side is like feedback, you know. And so like I've collected a bunch of feedback along the way, and like people are like, dude, I wish there was more of this and stuff like that. And maybe it's like thankless for the time being, but the long-term vision that I see as well is that like I suspect that like right now, because many people come up to me and they say, why are you doing this? Like, you're not earning any money, or like, you know, I mean, we earn bits of money here and there, but it's like, you know, what makes you do this? Like, are you crazy? You know, like this kind of vibe. And in a year from now or in 2 years from now, when this community is so big that it's undeniable, and it's like taking the biggest contracts in training, like events all through Malaysia and maybe even in the region, people will say, oh, he's so lucky because he's got that event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is this two-minded thing where in the beginning, when you are building the foundation for this thing that can live and like take on a life of its own, people will be like, why are you doing that? You know what I mean?
And you're like, I'm doing it because I fucking love the people. I want to bring them. And they're like, you're insane.
Yeah.
And then fast forward 24 months, you'd be like,
he's so lucky.
He just fell into it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're like, I had 5 people come to it, and I was like, gutted.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I'm not going to do this again. And it was like super cringe. And then you fast forward and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He's so lucky.
The thing is, he's so charismatic and good at public speaking. Like, that's why people come and they see me like in the first event. They're like, oh,
like internally, you're like,
oh
God.
Yeah, exactly. Do you watch Always Sunny? Have you Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I don't.
Okay.
I've been threatening to watch it for the longest. It's Danny DeVito, right?
Danny DeVito.
Yeah,
there's this one scene where like one of them goes up to like do stand up comedy, and she's like, you hear it like it's like, wee, and the mic is like, that's how I felt.
And I think it's people want the success.
Yeah.
They don't want the shit that goes into it.
And it's like the same thing, right? You know, it's like one object. It's like, I want, you know what I mean? It's like, I want the hilt, you know, I don't want the blade. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
I think this is where it gets a bit kind of fucked up, because all you see on social media right now is the end point, the outcome. It's like, oh, wow, he's successful. Well, I want that. Yeah, but do you? Do you want to host an event, go through the stress, do that, like not sleep for 9 days? Are you sure about that? And then for it to not work out the way you wanted, but then to do the same thing and like get up and go again.
Yeah.
Do you have the mental fortitude to actually do that? And if you feel that you don't, you either need to build it or think about doing something else.
For sure. And I think that that's sort of like a positive realization as well.
Yeah.
Many people live in this sort of like incongruent mindset where they're like, I want to be like, you know, whatever. I want to be a millionaire, but they don't want to do the things that millionaires do. And so they will live forever in like some version of hell where it's like, why am I not getting this thing that I want? Even though like the other side of them is like pulling them away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I think that this sort of like harsh and maybe sometimes crippling realization that it's like, actually, you're completely delusional is a really positive realization where it's like, maybe I just want a normal life because I want to just sit, like, you know, just not do very much and like hang out and like scroll my phone, you know, which is totally fine. I mean, you need
to adjust your expectations.
Yeah. And like, that's like, and I think that if someone who doesn't want to do like the shit eating realizes that they don't want to do the shit eating, they will live so much more of like a happy and contented life.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, oh, another day of not eating shit. You know what I mean? Like, rather than being like, oh, another day of not being a millionaire. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like they are the same statement, but it's just like in different languages. You know what I mean?
It's basically it's a reframe. Right?
Yeah.
And I think it's an interesting one, this idea of the concept of hard work.
Yeah.
As well.
But I think we're sort of like overstepping here in the sense that like my event is not like you know, some kind of like insane success right now, and like my company is like not like at the level like that I want it to be at. So I'm not like someone who's like preaching like, you know, you got to do the work if you want to be like me. Like, I am just doing the work because I like it, and like really we haven't seen like some kind of insane success for me to ever be able to be like, I'm a winner. Like there isn't any of that.
I think if you're enjoying it and then enjoying the process, you're kind of winning.
Yeah, exactly.
And the irony behind what you said is like, my event and then my company, it's like this is what people dream of getting. They dream of getting to the point where they have that courage to start the event or have the courage to start the company regardless of like the outcome. So by virtue of like actually starting, so it's kind of a win, right?
In that sense, absolutely. Like I'm like my life is a huge success because like every day I'm like I would never give this up for the world. In the sense that like all the shit eating, I love it. You know what I mean? Like I just love it so much. Like I say this to people all the time, which is that like when I was working at a company, like I would get like annual pay, and then like basically my optimization function is how do I minimize my hours because it increases my hourly pay, right? You know what I mean? My hourly rate. You know? And so this is like the function that I'm thinking about in my brain. And what now it's totally flipped on its head. It's like I can't do enough. You know what I mean? Because I know that the success or like the thing that I'm heading towards is a function of how much work I put in. And it's not just like, like shit eating work, but it's also like managing the things around my life, like making sure that I'm healthy enough to like continue doing this and like all of these things. But essentially it's a function of how much work I can put in at the end of the day. And so I'm sitting here like, I can't even get enough hours in the day because I want to work more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not the hustle porn. It's not like, you got to hustle to earn $1, make the money, but it's actually something you're passionate about.
I just love it, man.
What's the North Star? Like you said, like, it's this idea of success. Do you have a vision? It's like, this is it.
So this is gonna sound like super dumb, but like I would say when I first came, it was like I want to be a baller. You know what I mean? It's like that was kind of it. I was just like, dude, like I just want to be a fucking baller, and like my whole family, like everyone around me, like I don't want them ever to worry ever again. You know what I mean? Like this.
So you want to be a baller, not for yourself. You want to be a baller for everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, and also like what that means for me, right? Because they'll be like, he's got me. You know what I mean? Like I got him. You know what I mean? It's like it's on me, guys. Like that's part of what being a baller is, right? It's like don't worry, on me.
I'll handle it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Don't even look at the price. Like this kind of
just
thing.
choose what you want, man.
Yeah. Like that feeling, like, I mean, I wouldn't say that's a North Star. Like that's like the most like shallow North Star ever.
Well, caring for others? If I wanted to be like objective about it, that's what it sounds like. It's like I just want to take care of people.
I mean, maybe it's just, but it's because of how they see me and how they tell their friends about me.
That's shallow as fuck. Honestly, I see you in your silk shirt on the back of a yacht, be like, I got this.
Yeah. Kiss the ring, like.
Mate, you are the Conor McGregor of Malaysia. Is that what it is?
No, but I think that now, like when like I see things more, like a big part of like my sort of like why I feel mission driven with AITinkers especially is because I feel that I can contribute to like the improvement of like the tech scene and by extension like the whole country. You know what I mean? Because what is like the world going to be in like 10 years? I don't know, but I think that having a good tech scene is going to be a part of it. A big part of it.
Can't deny that.
Yeah, and so like this is why I feel mission driven. It's like when I see people like have this moment where like the facade cracks a little, where they're like, holy fuck, I can do this. Like I can't tell you, like when I listen back to that recording, like even though it's not even me talking, it's like AI. Like I cry like uncontrollably, like tears like streaming down my face.
Really?
Because it means so much to me, like to like see that people are like, I don't know, like I don't even know what it is. It's just like people are like, I can do this. You know what I mean? And it's like, it just means a lot to me.
Man, that's fucking awesome. And I like how you've then moved this into, you want other people to have this feeling as well. It's just like, okay, let's get on board. Let's fucking do something different. Let's make something here. And I think one of the things that struck me, like reading and kind of learning more about you, you have the AITinkers community, but then on top of that, you're also building companies.
Yeah.
So you got DocuAsk as well, right?
Yeah.
But not to go off topic, but the LinkedIn...
LinkedIn influencer. It's funny.
Mate, it's so good.
You like that?
It's so good.
That was like way before like DALL-E or any of this image stuff. So we yeah, at the time, like it's so funny to see that because like, you know, you could probably do that in like 2 lines of code today. But like back when we built it, it took ages. Like we were trying to find the right models that are able to like pick out things in the images.
Okay, could you elaborate on what the fuck you built?
Yeah.
Just very quickly.
Sure. So I was sort of like joking around with a friend of mine about like to give you some context on the whole situation, like this isn't just like totally random. We were building like all kinds of like random crap, like throwing loads of it at the wall and seeing what sticks. And in the end, it was sort of like DocuAsk, you know, spoiler alert. But I was trying a bunch of stuff, and one of those things is like this project called Linked Influencer, where both my friend Matt and I were like, LinkedIn posts are so crazy, right? We're like, this is insane,
It's got worse.
Yeah, we're like joking about it, and we're like, we should like make something where we can like make a LinkedIn post, like be a linked influencer, and then like, you know, whatever image it is, we can turn it into like some kind of stupid thing. And so we're like, you know, it's like, you know, I just got married and had a baby, and here's what it taught me about business, like, you know, like this kind of thing. And
did you see that viral post?
Yeah. It's so funny.
The marriage one?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's so hilarious. And so yeah, we were like, how do we do this? And we were sort of like talking about it, and then I was like, I'm just gonna do this. And like we ended the conversation at like maybe 9 at night, and I was still in London at the time. And by like 8 in the morning, it was done. And so I finished this whole project. I was like plugging in a bunch of models from like I want to say maybe, I can't remember. I think it might be like Replit or Hugging Face. I'm not sure. Like a bunch of models to like figure out this pipeline to like get it working. And then like I you know, like I had this moment where like, it's alive, you know, I like put in a picture, and like I got like the camera working, and my friend's like a UX guy, and so he helped with the UX of like Prompt Olympics as well. So like super cool guy, super intelligent. Like he works in like Cambridge with like robots, like medical robots and shit like that. Super intelligent guy.
And you got him to do this for you.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's like, oh, I think this could be better, and then we just put it up, and like I like posted about it, and I got a bunch of really encouraging messages from people being like, dude, I tried this, and like it's been going viral around my office because like everyone's like laughing at like the stupid posts we make and stuff like that.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's so good. But is that when you were just kind of tinkering around with like different things, that's when the idea of DocuAsk came about?
So DocuAsk kind of came before that because my friend, sort of like my ex, sort of like co-founder Paul and I were like messing around with like GPT-3, and at that time it was like 4K context window, super small.
Yeah.
And we had this like intrinsic belief where we're like, this is coming for our lives, you know, like we're like life is over.
Was this when you're banging on the doors of your roommates?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Everything is ended.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna go live in the woods.
Exactly that. And we're like 4,000 tokens, like that's so nothing. So we're like, how do we plug more information in here, like the right information? And sort of retrieval is not really a new thing, but it at that time it wasn't really being applied to like LLMs.
Right.
So we were like trying to figure out how to get the right information into the LLM so that it can get like, so that we can have like longer conversations with less like noise. You might call it noise.
Yeah.
Like there's useless stuff, right? And we mess around, and that was kind of like the origin of DocuAsk. And so it was very much like broad. It was like how to make LLMs commercial, or like how to make LLM better, you know?
Yeah.
And over time, the context windows massively improved and increased, but still there is this concept of like, can we get the right information in? Because the noise may cause sort of like issues, you know?
Was it, when you started on DocuAsk then, was it a business decision to start on that, or were you just kind of playing around and...
Playing around. Absolutely playing around.
Fucking always tinkering,
Yeah.
always playing around.
Yeah.
So then how did it become a business?
So we had a couple of miraculous sort of like things. So the Harrison Chase thing, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then another one which is kind of funny, but like a bit of a double-edged sword. Do you know a guy called Iman Gadzhi?
The name rings a bell. For what reason? I've got no idea.
He's like he's kind of like a bit of a get-rich-quick charlatan type, like social media influencer. But he owns a pretty big stake in this company called WAP now. I don't know if you've heard of that. Okay. Anyway, so I won't go into all that, but basically he's got like 3 million followers, like really big following, and he's very much like how to make your business more efficient and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then he posted this video called these 7 AI tools will make you rich. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And me and Paul didn't see this at the time, but I was sort of like looking at like our sort of like traffic. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like we just hit like, we maxed out our traffic and like we're getting charged by Vercel. Like we're hitting like something crazy like 20K hits per day, something like that. And I'm like, what is going on? And then like I'm just scrolling through YouTube and then I just search DocuAsk.
Yeah.
And I see this video of Iman Gadzi. And I know Iman Gadzi, so like, I mean, he's a pretty cool guy. He's like self-made dude as well, like did a bunch of stuff. And I see this video of him talking about DocuAsk and I'm like, this is AI, right? Like this is fake. And then I see another one, which is like a short of the same video. And I'm like, what is going on? And then like, I'm like, you know, again, I'm getting goosebumps talking about this. And then I see this video of 7 AI tools that'll make you rich. And I scroll through and I'm like, I see DocuAsk there and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? Like so insane. And this is another sort of like one of the miraculous things.
Yeah.
And for like months after that, we used like that video for our like PPC ads. So like that was like our only creative, just spliced up.
Fuck, I love it.
Which is so insane, right? And I think maybe it might have attracted the wrong audience, you know, because they're like his audience rather than someone who's like very interested. But it definitely widened, like gave us a bigger net to play with.
Yeah.
And obviously his content is already super optimized in terms of like conversions, being interesting and stuff like that. And so yeah, like that was one of the miraculous things. And then as time went on, it was just like, okay, so we can use this, we can use that. And it's again, that whole like arbitrage opportunity. What is like the least amount of effort that I can put in to get the most results? And this was an extremely sort of like strong opportunity, which is like we already have traction, we already have all of this stuff. Like let's find a way to pivot this into something that's like actually making money.
So this is where you decided to put the reps in on this particular thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what led me into it. It wasn't like me being like, you know, DocuAsk feels good. It was just like, well, this is, you know, like I'm gonna, this definitely can make money. And if it can't make money, it's definitely the most likely to make money out of all the things that I'm working on. And also, like, if it fails, like, it'll be a huge lesson because it's actually at a scale where this stuff is important rather than me sitting in my basement doing, like, you know, theory crafting, which is what I was doing, essentially, right?
Right, yeah.
Although, like, I was learning about building, I wasn't learning anything about marketing, distribution, and all of this stuff. And this was a huge, like, learning.
And at the time, it was just you and your partner?
It was just me, actually.
It was just you?
So by that time,
Jesus.
he had already sort of, like, decided, like, we'd already sort of decided to part ways.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so it was just me, and I was like, let's see what we can do here. And, yeah, cue, like, the craziest, like, sad, rocky, like, montage of me, like, banging my head against marketing walls, like, trying to learn what the fuck ads are. Yeah, like, all of this stuff. So,
Wait, so how did you start then? Like,
how did I start?
So you had this small success with the YouTube video.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, I'm going to capitalize on this and then start running ads.
Yeah, so first it was still this like shame of like, oh no, what if people hate it, right?
Yeah.
Let me make it better, which is like this perfectionist nightmare, which is that like people are like, no, I'm a perfectionist. And it's like, yeah, you know, like if you're like an ex-perfectionist, you know that like they're just saying, I'm never gonna do this ever. You know what I mean? Like that's basically what they're saying.
We both know what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so like so like still there was that aspect of me which I've really found disillusionment with. Like, you know, I'm so like, does it turn on? If so, sell it to people. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And if they don't want to buy it, then you can change it to make them buy it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you don't start, like, what if today they're like, everyone in the world's like, I'll give you $1 million for that, and you're like, no, it's not ready. You know what I mean? It's like the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah.
Again, it comes back to the tinkering. It's like true, like, interaction with the true landscape of what things are, not what you egotistically think in your brain is the lay of the land, right?
I think like, what is the story you're telling yourself, and what is the outside evidence that makes that true?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like no, it's not ready. It's like, ready for who? Are you paying yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think you are. You know?
Like they have an idea. Well, you had an ideal of what it should look like.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's not there yet, and therefore everyone else is going to judge it and not pay for it.
Right.
So, okay. Well, fucking relax. You're not that great. Just ship it and see what happens.
Precisely. And the truth is that like the first style of thinking is important, but it must be in tandem with the second style of thinking. Okay. Whereas like you can't be lacking any instinct or any idea how something is going to work altogether. You have to be like, it has to be better. Like, you have to have this mindset. And this is how I think it should be better. But you also must overcome that in order to say, what do you guys think as well?
Right.
You know, these two things must exist in tandem. And they're almost like oxymoronic. You know, they contrast and conflict with one another, but they must exist harmoniously, or as harmoniously as possible in your brain.
Well, how do you combat that then? With shipping, selling, iterating, optimizing, and then be like, oh, this is terrible. I'm not. It
sucks. It just sucks. It just sucks.
You just gotta eat shit.
Yeah,
like,
it just sucks. Like people, like all the time, people are like, you know, like they say, I mean, it sucks. That's
it. Finish. Yeah. It just sucks.
People be like, why doesn't this do what ChatGPT does? And in your heart, you're thinking like, because I'm just one dude, man. Like, what do you want from me? Just like pay me the money. And at the same time, you're like, he doesn't care that I'm one dude. He's not thinking like, well, he's just one dude. He's like, is this thing that I'm paying for giving me the value that I want from it, right? And so like, that sucks. And like, you know, like so many things about it suck. It's just like all the time having like constant like additional realizations that you just suck at something.
Yeah.
And like as soon as you feel okay, you discover a new thing that you suck at, because before you sucked so much that you didn't even know that thing existed. Like that's it's like this cycle of sucking.
What is it, the Valley of Despair, the Dunning-Kruger effect? Like you start off with all this optimism and passion. It's like, oh, actually, no, fucking terrible. And then slowly start to creep back up.
Yeah.
But I suppose as you continue, because you're pushing outside your comfort zone,
you find more micro Dunning-Krugers, right? You know, like it's
like,
like,
oh god,
yeah,
then this sucks.
Yeah,
like, so you're never not sucking at something as long as you're moving forward.
But sucking is like the best thing that you can be, right? You know what I mean?
I think if you're aware of it as well,
you
can do something about it.
Like sucking is basically like the universe telling you that you are going in the direction of not sucking, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't suck at anything if you're not improving at it, right?
Yeah, I think probably one of your superpowers is like that idea of like, yeah, I'm sucking, but then if I do the reps and I continue, I'll suck less.
Yeah.
Rather than having sucking be the end of the thing that you're pursuing.
And the problem is that people get sucked into, people get into a situation where they suck at something once, and then they stop doing it because they're afraid of sucking at it, and then in their brain they're like replaying the simulation of them sucking, and that is like a replacement for actually sucking. Do you get what I mean? So they're not learning anything. They're just like doing this mental, like, I don't know, I don't want to call it masturbation, but like it's like this thing that is just simulated. And they are still feeling the sucking, which is what you would be doing if you were really sucking and learning and getting something from it, but they're not getting anything from it.
And then that's used to play out in the other scenarios of trying new things.
Yeah.
Because like, well, I sucked at this and it was proved true because you didn't kind of push through and kind of keep attempting.
Even though I sucked, I never got any better, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, why?
And it's like, well, I'm going to try this. And it's like, well, actually, no, because I sucked at doing this. And then the last time I tried, I kind of failed, so I'm not going to try anymore.
Right.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, man. And we're sucking right now at learning that. You get what I mean? Yeah. It's like the infinite cycle of sucking.
Having the tools, the mental models for resilience and perseverance to continue when you're sucking. You're like, I am terrible at this thing right now. But if I continue to do it, I will suck less.
Yeah. And
I will continue to get better at doing these things.
Yeah.
And you think showing people that there is a way to kind of get through it just by doing those reps, I think that's really important.
And again, like I want to sort of give some contextual understanding here. I still suck. And I even suck at this mentality that I'm trying to tell you to be better at. You know what I mean? Like there are tons of things. Like
I suck at like telling myself I don't suck.
Yeah, like there are tons of things where I'm too scared to fail at as well. You know what I mean? Like, and I, like it's just like there's one thing where maybe sometimes I'm not afraid to suck.
Yeah. And
even then it comes in bursts, you know? I'm like, sometimes I'm just like, I can't do that today. You know, like, I can't suck today. Like, it's just too much for me. And I'm like, let me do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. And I think self-compassion is really important in these situations, because otherwise if you're like, oh, I can't deal with sucking today. I'm like, is that who I am now?
Yeah.
I'm just a guy that doesn't want to suck anymore. Everything else is going to fail. So
yeah.
It's okay. It's fine. Like,
yeah. Like, one of the things that drives me in this case, which makes me feel better, is that all the time I will, like have this sort of internal meta commentary where I say, but that's just human nature. And, like, it makes me feel so much better. Because, like, it's not just me sucking individually. It's like, we're all bad at that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, even if it's not true, it makes me feel better. And yeah, I'm a big believer of thoughts like that, which are maybe inaccurate or maybe sort of like oversimplifications. But if they are benefits to your, resilience, your direction, your purpose, they are okay to hold those as long as you're aware. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm the same on these ones. So if something's taking me a long time, or if I'm getting super tired, like I am not good at sitting down at a desk and doing stuff. I'm just not good.
Yeah.
I was down in Singapore. When was it? Wednesday.
I like how you're looking at me like I know the answer to this question.
I don't fucking know. You should know. I was down there on Wednesday, and I went out to this event Echelon to meet with different people, right? And I turned up at the event at 8:30, and then I didn't stop talking and meeting with people for like, I think it was 7 hours. It's like I didn't drink anything. Like no coffee, no water, because
that makes me want to drink.
You should.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not stronger. I walked into the event, went to the first booth and started talking to people.
Okay.
And I came out of that, and then I drove back from Singapore to Malaysia at night.
No way.
And then I got back I went for a run in the morning. So I got up at 5:45, went for a run, had breakfast with the missus, which was awesome because she joined me, and it was fucking great. And then got back here, I don't know, whatever time it was, and I went to bed at past midnight, maybe 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And I wasn't tired at all. It's because it's that thing. I just love it. Like, you go out, you meet people, you like, what brings you to the event. And the one thing I love about these events is I spend the time connecting with different people, and then connecting those people with other people at the event.
Right.
Because like, I learned about this company. I met this VC that's looking for something like that. Hey, you should talk. And then all of a sudden you just become this connector at the event. Right. And it's so much more fun. It's like, because I do sales training and coaching. So all of these, like my target audience, I didn't give a fuck about that.
And so you're not worrying about like, oh, am I going to do okay? It's more like, oh, how do I make this a good experience for other people?
For everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just so good because I got talking to this one company that's developing a greener way to create methanol for the maritime industry.
Okay.
And then I ended up spending, I don't know, like 20 minutes there talking to these guys. And they're all gathered around, they're all engineers. And I've got no idea about this stuff. Like they're talking about these reactors, refinery. And I'm like, I've got no idea. But I can spend 20 minutes talking because I'm really curious and want to just connect all these people.
Yeah.
However, on the flip side, I came back. And then obviously yesterday I had to sit at my computer and then do follow-ups, do emails, do decks, do proposals and all that. And it's just debilitating.
Right.
And I'm like an hour in, like, but then you remind yourself, it's like, this is part of it.
Right.
It can't all be that other thing.
Yeah.
Because this is part of doing the thing.
Yeah.
It's all of it.
Totally.
You can't have the one thing, like the outcome, without doing the suck thing as well.
And people often say, like, that's not fair. You know what I mean? Right? You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That is the definition of fair. That is exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's not fair. By what standard? By your made up standard? Like, that you just came up with? Like, what?
And this is the reminder I have for myself. Like, if I'm doing this, like, this is part of it.
Yeah.
I have to do this bit. Like, doing all the prep work and all the reading is really fun because it's like, obviously sitting down and doing this, but the few minutes before doing this, I'm like, oh, he's coming. But you have to do it so you can sit down and have the conversation. It's like, you've got to suck.
Yeah,
you've got to do shit.
Yeah,
you have to. You have to do the shit.
It's not just humans, right? It's like everything in existence. Like it's all cyclical. It's like you do the thing that you like, so that maybe, and then what comes around later is maybe the thing that you like less, right? Yeah. It's like, the day is bright and the night is dark. You know what I mean? It's like that's just how it is, bro.
Yeah.
Like that, and like the thing is that if you did the thing you liked only forever, it would become the same cyclical thing where you would discover stuff that you don't like inside of it. So would you rather broaden so that you're finding more stuff that you like and more stuff that you don't like and continue to do more of it, or you narrow and you're just like, oh, now I kind of don't like the thing that I liked before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because again, it's like this human nature thing. The human nature is to find like the ups and downs, you know, like the wave of like, you know, up and down. And so if you only like eat chocolate cake, you're gonna be like, oh fuck this chocolate, I don't want to eat this chocolate cake today. You know what I mean?
I can't agree with that.
You 100% would. And, you know, some days you're like, oh, I just can't eat the chocolate cake. Yeah. And like that's what people who are like going only for like enjoyment and pleasure like are doing to themselves. even the pleasure becomes a chore.
Yeah.
You know, because we live in like these bodies, in these experiences where we attribute pleasure and chore to things that are in our purview. So if it's all pleasure, it becomes pleasure and chores. So if would we rather be narrowing that or expanding it? And my school of thought is that we want to be expanding it.
This is a good chat. You know, I saw I was doing some doom scrolling and I saw a random reel of Bob Ross. You know Bob Ross, the painter.
Bob Ross.
And
happy accident.
He was actually, so Bob Ross was talking about, he was painting something, and it was recorded shortly after his wife passed, I believe, and he was talking about the contrast between night and day, and light and dark.
Right.
And you can hear it in his voice.
Right.
It's like, you can't have the light without the dark.
Yeah, I think I've seen that clip.
You have to have the contrast to understand the difference between 100%. The two.
Yeah.
So knowing that you've got to do this, and I've got to sit at my desk for like however many hours to do all this stuff, like the admin shit, it's like, well, this sucks. I know it sucks because I know what the other side is. The bit that doesn't suck was the day before when I spent however many hours talking to people. It's like, can you imagine if that became the chore?
Right.
This was the chore. Like
exactly.
So it's like,
It's like, I mean, And another guy who talks about this a lot is Alan Watts. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's like...
oh my God, I've just started listening to his stuff. Somebody put me onto him. I can't remember who it was.
He's fascinating. By the way, one of the greatest speakers I have ever come across in my life.
Yeah.
So incredible. Like, the way that he brings you along, like, an extremely complex like topic or an extremely complex concept in like ways that are practical and like intrinsically understood. And it's almost like when he hits you with the final punchline, which is like the information, you laugh because it's almost something that's coming from inside you. It's like I mean, like, incredible guy, incredible, and like prolific teacher. Like, I don't know, in my opinion, one of the greatest minds like to have ever existed.
Listening to his stuff in the car, and we just kind of like driving along, listening to all this. I'm like, holy fuck! It's really good. It's all the old recordings as well. All his lectures, right? And they're so fascinating. And like, it's one of these things where you can come back, and it's almost like scripture. It's crazy. And so I'm a huge fan of Alan Watts, and he like they sort of existed in like different parts of my mind almost, because Alan Watts is so like, you know, funky dunky spiritual, like, you know, weirdo. And he talks about like these fundamental truisms of like the universe and the human experience, and it almost feels like that's in contrast with what I'm doing, which is like this like daily grind of like being in the rat race, right? You know. And like but I mean, super fascinating. And again, I think that a lot of the time we have these, you know, maybe conflicting beliefs that have to exist in our minds harmoniously somehow in order to achieve things or in order to go in directions. Because, you know, when you fall too far one way or the other, you know, you're going to be missing some of the information and failing to reach the point. Like what we were talking about having a vision and conviction about your product, but also if someone says like something's wrong, immediately changing, you know. And like, how do you balance those, because they're conflicting, right? It's like, how do you have conviction and also like, it's like, never mind, we're changing, you know what I mean? Like it's like how do you do those two things together? Well, you just have to, that's it, you know. Like, there is no answer there. It reminds me of like the ability to make decisions. I think there was Reid Hoffman was talking about LinkedIn like in the early days. Do you remember LinkedIn in the early days? I do not. Yeah, because you're like 16 years old, that's why you're a fucking child. He was talking about, there's a thing called Lion Networks, Lion, which is LinkedIn Open Networkers. And they believe that you should be able to connect with everybody. Everybody on LinkedIn should be able to connect with everybody. It should be like free market kind of thing. And all this kind of stuff. And Reid was like, that's not what it's about. But that was the loudest audience that was screaming. They were like the bulk of the people that were actually on the platform. And he was like, no, not doing it. He had to ignore them. He basically had to ignore it. And then kind of follow his instinct. It's like, okay, I'm being told by the majority that I'm wrong, but I'm actually going to stick to my convictions. Right. So I think it's an interesting contrast to be able to listen, but then pivot when necessary and extrapolate out like, okay, whatever these people are saying, how would this play out in the long run, like for the vision that I want for the thing that I'm building? And then making a decision. Right, for sure. 100%. And again, it's like those two like sides fighting each other. Right. And like, I
I mean, is there a hard and fast rule that you can apply which would have gotten you in that position and also like, whatever, like the Meta position or the Google position? Like, I don't think so. But like, you just have to. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, and like maybe again, like that's unfair. It is fair. Like that is just how it is.
How do you with like DocuAsk and use centers, the two parts of your brain in terms of like the daily grind, then you got the Alan Watts part of your brain in terms of like bringing in the philosophical side of things.
Yeah.
How do you bring the Alan Watts side of you into your business?
So I think that like it's very difficult to distinguish between like business life and personal life. I mean, I think that we have these concepts in our minds, but I don't think they really exist in reality. Like all day long, I'm thinking about my personal life and I'm thinking about like business. You know what I mean? It's like because my business is part of my personal life, because they're both a part of my life. You know what I mean? Like, and they all come as streams of like like from the Alan Watts perspective, like streams of spiritual consciousness either through me or like to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like this thing that's happening in my brain, but so I think it's very hard to separate the two, and so it just is a question of like how do I separate the like what I think is like the pseudo-logical part of my brain and like the sort of like philosophical side of my brain. And the way that I see it is that these are just two models that we use to understand the universe around us, right? It's like I understand my human experience through the spiritual aspect, which is that like, there are so many miraculous things that happen to me or help me along my journey and all of these things. And where do they come from? Why do they happen? And like maybe the spiritual model tells me that it comes from some kind of higher power or something that is pulling me in a direction to like enact some kind of change because some higher power thinks that I'm capable of doing that, And the logical side of me tells me that maybe it's because I have tried hard and I'm working earnestly and sincerely to do something, and because I'm sort of like tilling the ground, tilling the soil, things can grow out of them, right? And these two things are not mutually exclusive. They are just two separate models to describe the same phenomena, right? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, do we really understand the true nature of the phenomena that we're experiencing, which is all of the, everything? Do we? No, I don't think so. We have models. We have economic models. We have scientific models. I have a spiritual model. I have like a brain rot meme model. You know what I mean? Like we have all kinds of models in our brains, and they appear to be mutually exclusive in the sense that they conflict with one another. But it's just like in each and individual moment, which model do we lean on for that understanding, right? It's like maybe one day it'll be super emotional and I'll be like, oh my God, it's because God or whatever like allowed this to happen for me. And that'll be me leaning on my spiritual model. But the next day, I may have a totally different feeling about it. And this is, again, why I think that the sort of like the mosaic of experiences is so interesting, where tomorrow you'll tell the same story in a different way. And it's because in that moment, we're sort of leaning on a different model of understanding. And the experiences sort of like sit on that model in a different way, this lattice of understanding. They just sit on it in a different way. And then you describe it from the standpoint of that model. And I think this is very sort of akin or parallel to like Greek or Roman mythology, where it's like, I'm embodying Ares, like because I'm angry. You know what I mean? Which is just that, they are using a model to instruct how they behave in the world. And that model is easy to understand as a personification, which is the god of war, for example.
Where did this come from? Like this exploration of philosophy? I mean, how you talk about it, it seems like you've wanted to kind of deep dive into it, and
I'm only just now realizing how like impassioned I was describing that just now.
I think just throughout, like this idea of intrinsic and extrinsic, like what you hold, the beliefs, the models. I want to know about this concept of the mosaic. I mean, it conjures up a pretty powerful image as well. It's like, have you always been into philosophy? Because by the sound of things, it was just more like KFC, washing windows. It's like, brother, you've been on this fucking journey, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you read or listen on philosophy, or is
I'm more of a listener.
Yeah.
But I haven't read many sort of like I haven't like read Plato or anything like that. I've tried to, but it feels too dense for me.
Mm.
There are sort of like some philosophical, spiritual books that I can read.
Where did this come from?
I mean, I like poetry. I think that poetry is a really sort of like clear window into understanding like deep human nature of things, and they convey truisms that are not possible to convey just with words alone, if that makes sense. They convey
yes.
using the levers of feelings and emotion and things like that. And they bring you to an understanding that couldn't be achieved by like reading a book, like a scientific book.
Dude, the contrast, there's a stark contrast between your love of poetry and computer science.
Yeah, yeah, true. You're right.
I mean, maybe I'm reading into that too much, but it's like, okay, it sounds like two people.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's that thing where it's like the model, like,
yeah.
And I think that because I'm cognizant of it, I allow it to happen. I don't feel this cognitive dissonance where it's like, I'm a coder, not someone who likes reading like Khalil Gibran or whatever,
right.
know, like I don't have that thing where I'm like, no, like I'm too cool to like, I don't really have it. Like,
yeah.
Like if like it tickles me or if it takes me, like I'm happy to explore. Like I like. And yeah, and as you probably saw embarrassingly earlier, I am like sort of like subject to my emotions. Like I feel things quite deeply. So
why be embarrassed?
Yeah,
I think the fact that you feel so passionately about these things, it shows a lot about the journey that you're on and like why you're actually on it. And to be fair, I should have pulled on that thread a little bit more. To be fair, because I mean, in those moments you start to see the real picture, the real person as well, right?
Yeah.
And I think that in these conversations, it's quite important.
For sure. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe I would sort of like attribute it to like my sister. She's a really, really intelligent, what do I call her? Woman? I don't know. It's weird calling her a woman.
Because it's your sister.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I feel like I haven't spoken to her about her in these terms before. My sister is a really intelligent woman. Like so odd. But,
I just imagine the conversations you have. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So she is like one of the those people who are like, they just know like when something's good. They've just got like a really good taste for things.
Yeah.
Like and so when I first went to Canada, like again, it was the same optimism thing where I was just like, yeah, this is gonna be fine. Like blah blah blah. Like this is gonna be totally cool. Like me and my friend are just gonna go like teach like snowboarding in Whistler or whatever. And then as soon as I remember so clearly, like the moment where I walked through the like glass doors in Changi, the doors open and I walk through like past immigration where like my parents are no longer with me and I just start crying and I'm just like so scared like suddenly in that moment. And before that I had felt no fear whatsoever. I was just like, we're doing this, like, and like when I got to Canada they like held me in like a holding cell for like 8 hours because like, why are you here? I was like, I don't know, travel. But anyway, that's not important. And before I left, my sister gave me this book, which I mean it'll sound pretty basic, but it's Paulo Coelho's The Alchemist.
I haven't read it.
Okay, so it's like this incredible story about this kid who like travels to find a treasure that he dreams about. He dreams about this treasure in like which is at the pyramids, and the story is told in such a way where he narrates his every emotion and every sort of like understanding throughout this journey. Like the hero's journey.
I've listened to it.
Oh, you have?
I have.
Yeah.
I have a while ago.
Santiago, the boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so...
And he meets the girl as well, right? And he has to go off on this...
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so there's all kinds of like these tropes from like the hero's journey, right? Like where, the fall from grace and like the learning and the fact that the hero must take on some profile of risk.
Yeah.
They have to give up the comfort in order to reach... the goal that they're trying to achieve. And I remember that I was so terrified on the plane and I was like crying, and I read the book like twice on the plane because I was like so like it was just like a comfort for me, like a creature's comfort, like to like just block out the world basically. And since then, like there was maybe years of my life where like the only way I could sleep is if I was listening to the book like on audio recording. And so, like, yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a big reason why, like, I think about these things. I think they're, like, really important, It's like, what's the story that you tell yourself?
What is the story you tell yourself?
I mean, in some ways, I think I'm Santiago. You know,
Yeah.
like you sort of like personify yourself with this character, which like you read about, and like the cool things about him are that like he reframes quickly. Like if something bad happens, he's like, "Oh, it's cool. Like I'm still closer to my like treasure than I was before."
Yeah.
And I think that's really powerful. Sorry, I don't know why. This is so weird. I don't usually do this. It's like a really sort of like deep like inspection of like my internal narrative, like dialogue.
I mean, if you're cool with it, I'd like to explore it a little bit.
Sure.
Because like some of the, some of the stuff that, from having this conversation with you for some time, this ability to bounce back, this resilience is like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go again.
Right.
So you can see.
Yeah, that's Santiago, dude.
You can see the parallels, right?
Yeah.
And this.
Yeah, and like I think it's like so fascinating, and like I think that like listening to it so many times kind of like gave me this framework of understanding things in the same way, you know. And I think that's pretty cool. And so that's for my sister.
It's like, do you want a tissue?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, no worries.
I think it's because I didn't sleep well last night. Maybe that's what it is.
We can take that. Els just asked if you want some antihistamines.
Oh, I think.
Actually, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the cats.
It's the cats. That's what it is.
It's the cats.
I figured it out. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that you can tell. Sorry, do you want to?
No, please.
Okay, we're back. I think that you can tell sort of like that, like everything that I'm doing is very raw, you know?
Yeah.
In the sense that like, I feel very vulnerable because like, even though like maybe on a surface level, like people are like, well, like he's doing really well or whatever, like, I'm really just trying my best. Like that's it.
And this is the weird contradiction as well, because people see these things like, oh, my company, and I'm doing this event, and it's like, oh, well, he's got it all figured out. Mm-hmm. So that when people meet you, it's like, well, you got it all figured out.
Yeah.
You know what? I had an ex-girlfriend. There's a reason she's an ex. I remember having a conversation with her.
Yeah.
Just about kind of work and progress and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to you in terms of like, I would work 6-7 days a week. I mean, I'm a foreigner in Malaysia.
Yeah.
I don't want to go home. This is home for me now.
For sure.
It's like this idea of work hard, push for success for yourself. And she said to me, and it's hit me hard, and it was a trigger point. She's like, it's easy for you. You can just work and everything just comes to you. It's like, it's super easy. And I was like, you have fucking no idea.
Yeah.
Like a 3% success rate on any kind of outreach for sales. It's like 97% of the time you kind of go out and you fight these battles, loose term, of like just trying to overcome limiting beliefs, self-doubt. And people see it's like, oh, he's hit his target, or he's done this, or he's won this, and he's like, oh, he's built a team, and he's gone on to do this.
Yeah.
And all the while, you don't feel like you're a success because you're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, and then somebody says, oh, it's easy for you. It's like, I struggle to sleep.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to get up. And it's weird things like, how dare you?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, because it's just not easy.
Yeah.
Maybe for some people it is.
I think maybe like my take on that is that maybe you need to develop callous in these kinds of situations.
Yeah.
The way that I see it is that when people say that it's easy for me, this is maybe a little spiteful, but I'll be like, yeah, you're right. It is easy for me, and I'm just lucky, and so you shouldn't try. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, in that way, you're sort of eliminating potential competition. You know what I mean? And so it's like you're so right. You know what I mean? Like that you're absolutely right. It is just luck of the draw, and it has nothing to do with my input, and that's why you will never. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds so spiteful.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, it just sounds like they're trying to convince themselves. Like, oh, it's easy for you, and it's lucky. You're just lucky. It's like, okay, if that's the story you want to tell, that's fine.
And that's the truth is that I think it is like a self-protective or like a defensive kind of a mentality, because if they truly accept the scenario that no, actually, it's just because you're not pushing yourself.
Yeah,
it's so like damaging to the self, right? To the ego. And it's like, actually, you could do that, but you're just not. That's it.
Yeah.
And like that's such a real sucky belief to like have to. It's like such a big pill to swallow.
Here's the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, not to say again, like, I keep doing this, but it's like it's not to say that I have swallowed the pill or that I have reached, because as you can tell, I'm only just making it, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I'm so close to like not knowing anything.
Yeah.
That I'm just like fingernails over.
It's
the
just
line.
like a fucking knife edge.
Yeah.
And I think this is when you obviously having conversations with people like yourself, it's really interesting to hear this, because from the outside, looking on, it's like, wow, good job, man. Like, wow, yeah,
Thanks, man, I appreciate
hosting
it.
these events, like, got it going on, built a company.
Yeah.
Like, DocuAsk is what, 160,000?
I think
plus?
so. Now we're at like 200 plus now. I don't keep a super close eye on the user numbers.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, like DocuAsk is, yeah, it's incredible. I mean, again, still the numbers don't feel real when I look at them. I remember there was a time where, like I got like $20 and I was like, oh my God, no,
Somebody paid for the thing that I built.
Exactly. And then like now, like I get like, like checks in like through Stripe and I'm just like, more, you know what I mean? It's like so nuts. It's like such a like.
It's like, just constantly moving the goalposts of success.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And like it's like you don't get a chance to like feel okay, and that's why like in certain situations, like when the light is right or when the moment is right, I do like I can feel like just how close to like the emotional edge I am.
Yeah.
In the sense that like like I'm working like 12, 14, 16 hours a day still consistently, maybe like 6-7 days a week.
Yeah.
And like I do not do anything else, and like my sort of like rest time is organizing events so that I can hang out with other builders.
Right.
And that is still work. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
and so like I'm like, oh, I'm looking forward to this event, like which I'm like hosting. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's like my like, okay, time to kick back, and like the whole event I'm like, make sure this goes well, like make sure this is this, and and so like yeah. In situations like this, I think that it's impossible to really reach goals, like goals that are audacious and big, without making sacrifices, And like for me, I think that a big part of the sacrifice is maybe health. A part of the sacrifice is like, being like close, like, we just have a short conversation here. I'm bawling my eyes out, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like my emotions are like all like tangled up and crazy because all I focus on is work.
When are you going to set time aside to work on this?
I'm dead, bro.
Fuck it.
I'm just kidding.
It actually sounds like it. It needs to be a purposeful thing as well, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not going to get... I mean, will it slow down? I mean, the big question here is, what is enough for you to then take stock and be like, actually, I need to deal with these
Honestly,
emotions?
I don't think... I think that I'll be working till I'm dead. Like, I'm, pure love of the game. I love it.
Look, I'm with you on that one. Like, the game of sales, I don't want to steal anything from you.
Yeah.
It's the game.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. Because it's like, small wins here and there. How do I make things better? It is the game.
Yeah, that's what, like, being human is, right?
Yeah.
Like, you are alive to hone a craft, right? As in, I mean, this is, like, several abstractions above, like, the main purpose of life, which is just the extension of life, right? Which is, like, you are a biological being, like an organism, which must create more organisms.
Okay.
Right? Like anti-death, basically.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, the species goes on. But the abstraction beyond that is, like, how do we make the legacy go on? How do we hone a craft, improve, and make these incremental dopamine improvements and move the needle, This is, like, what life is, I think. And people have this idea of the differential between, like, it's like, no, but you're working too much. It's like, what is work? You know what I mean? Like, how is me going to the gym or me striving for any pursuit different from work? Like, I don't see the differential, other than maybe that you have a contract and you get paid in some cases.
I think people have a perception of work.
Yeah.
Somebody pays you, turns up to do this thing, and you don't really
and you hate
enjoy
it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
actually, well, what's your downtime? It's like, what do you like to do in your downtime? Well, I like to watch Netflix and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That for me is, I like late at night, if I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah.
I've seen it 100 billion times.
Yeah.
I don't have a Netflix subscription. I've got a Brooklyn Nine-Nine subscription because that's my downtime. But the idea of maybe sitting there for 5 hours just watching Netflix the whole night, which other people might perceive as relaxing, it's kind of like anxiety inducing.
Right. Same.
Because
I'm thinking, like, what could I be doing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is a healthy thing or not.
I mean, what, like, I think it's like we should be sort of like objective driven rather than like giving sort of like broad prescriptive arguments or prescriptive statements. Like, you know, you're not healthy. It's like, how do you know? Like, this is what I want to do is this.
You work too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
According to who?
Yeah.
And it's like, I get fulfillment and joy from the outcomes that this brings me.
Yeah.
So who are you to say whether or not I work too hard?
Right, for sure.
And who am I to say whether or not this is right for you?
Yeah.
Because, base question, are you happy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Enjoy it. That's you. Cool.
Yeah. And like, I mean, obviously there are other considerations, which is like, you know, like maybe you're happy, like, you know, eating people's brains, and like you probably shouldn't do that. But like,
maybe.
but like, yeah, like ultimately it's that as well, because it's like the same thing happens. Like whenever you make any kind of like crazy life decision, like you never want to be like making it because someone convinced you, because if it goes wrong, you don't want to be like, oh, frick, you know, you got me to do this thing that screwed my life up.
Yeah.
It's always got to be, I want to do this, and if the consequences are negative, I mean, it's debatable anyway.
Yeah.
You can stand by it and be like, I can sleep at night because this was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I
made this decision
Yeah.
for myself rather
Yeah.
than being coerced or forced into it. I think there's this idea of lack of control as well when other people make decisions for you. Like
Right.
this dictatorship, authoritarian bosses people have. It's like, it just makes people miserable because they
Yeah.
have that lack of agency or lack of like collaboration. And
For sure.
you know, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
This idea of work and working too hard.
100%.
Do you feel then for the amount that you work and the fact that maybe you are on a bit of a knife edge, do you want to start setting some time aside?
Aside for what?
Working through some shit?
I don't know. I mean,
like, how do you relax? Or rather,
I do some doom scrolling here and there.
yeah.
Um,
Do you have hobbies?
I mean, I like working. I played some pickleball. I dive. I do scuba diving.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Have you watched the new documentary that's out on Netflix?
No,
The Titan one?
I have not. Is it about freediving?
No, it's just
Oh.
about Ocean Gate and Titan.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, is Titan the thing that imploded?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, right. I haven't seen it now.
The good thing about watching stuff on your phone, you can watch it at 1.5 speed.
Yeah, dude. I'm actually such like a disgusting freak when it comes to 1.5 speed. I like watch everything at like 1.5 or 2, just like to optimize.
Well, I know. I kind of beat myself up for this as well. Enjoy the content.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know Spotify goes up to 3 speed?
Really?
Yeah.
But why would you listen to music at like that speed?
I mean, I'm not going to listen to music at 3 speed. It's
Podcasts. Oh, right. I was like, what the shit? That's crazy.
This is a great song. Over the
I want to get to the end of it. It's so nuts. Like complete psychopath,
If
man.
you listen to this album, yeah, I did it in 4 minutes. No, podcasts.
Oh,
Podcasts.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must say I'm not really a big podcast consumer. Yeah.
How dare you say that on a podcast?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm a big yapper. I love yapping.
No shit.
Yeah. But I'm not really. Yeah. I do think that the format is interesting because I think that it's way more compelling hearing 2 people talk about something than one person. And I think that goes back to the same story thing that we were talking about, right? It's like it just feels better for some reason. You know what I mean?
I think so. I think that's what we spoke about, right? You can pull from it what you kind of want and interpret it the way you'd like as well, as long as it's gonna add some positivity to yours and other people's lives.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that maybe too much of this optimization is like a bit problematic.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know. It's a difficult one because like it's symptomatic of other things which I like, you know what I mean, which I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And so like I don't know, maybe like I'll burn out, and I think that's what a lot of people tell me. They're like, you're going to burn out. You're young, you're going to burn out. And I think maybe burning out is like not taking care of the other things, which I'm definitely guilty of in many occasions. And I'm trying to sort of like fix that. I've been going to the gym like 6 days a week.
Oh, nice.
Trying to like sort of sort that out. It's funny. I started going to the gym. Like I just walked to the gym, or like walked in front of the gym and took a picture of it for 1 week, and then just went home. And then like the next week I went in and like stretched a bit and like walked, and then I went home. And then like now like I've built it up to like doing like proper workouts and stuff like that.
How fucking cool is that, though?
And the funny thing is that in the beginning my dad was like, you are an idiot. Like this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. You just go to the gym and take a picture. Because one day on Saturday he and I were going to have some like some food.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, I've just got to go to the gym. And then I drove past the gym and took a picture of it. And I was like, cool, let's go. And he was like, what the hell did I just witness? And I was like, I don't know.
I'm optimizing my process.
Yeah, I was like, you don't understand. I'm just easing into it.
I think it's a good way to start.
Yeah.
As long as it gets you going.
Yeah, because it was really hard for me. Like, I mean, this is a big sticking point. Like, a part of me mentally was like, you can't have success unless the rest of your life is a disaster. That's like what I felt. And I can't explain why, but yeah. And so that's sort of why I put myself in that situation.
What happened in your life for that to come from somewhere?
Because like, it's sort of the same as the eating shit thought.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like, it has to suck. And like, that sort of expanded into the space of like, not only does it have to suck, everything has to suck.
And therefore, you'll be worthy of having the successes that comes with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, how do you think that you're going to, like, achieve something that, like, other people are not able to achieve? Only by doing things that other people are not willing to do. And, like, one of those things is, like, your health is, like, on the wayside and, like, you're damaging yourself potentially and stuff like that. I mean, it sort of expanded into this thing that maybe felt a bit unhealthy.
Yeah.
And then I had a conversation with my sister, the same sister that gave me The Alchemist.
Yeah.
And she was like, just think of it as a business expense. It's something that will continue the business to grow, and it will make the business more sustainable if you just spend some time working out, exercising, and prioritizing your health.
Sounds like a smart lady.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, she's a very intelligent woman.
What does she do? What does she do?
She lives in Oman, and she's sort of like a stay-at-home wife, and yeah. So, but she's super intelligent. Like, she went to like LSE, first class honors, pure economics and stuff like that. So she's like, yeah, super smart. And
you should listen to her more.
Yeah, I mean, I try my best. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I'm early stages on like sort of trying to fix that problem, and I think that and other things, as long as I keep cognizant and keep my mind on them, will help me to avoid burnout for as long as possible.
What do you reckon burnout looks like?
Burnout just looks like failing to realize problems as they surface their heads, right? And like just ignoring them completely.
Do you do that now?
I think so. I mean, I was definitely doing that with my health.
Yeah.
And so this is sort of a turning point for me where maybe I can catch it before it hits the burnout level.
Was there a bit of a scare on the health side of things?
Other than me just being generally pretty fat, not really.
I was going to say large.
Yeah.
Yoked. You'd be a good powerlifter.
Yeah, I was heading on potentially doing like the powerlifting path when I was pretty young.
Really?
Yeah. I when I was like 19, I was like benching like 140 kilos and shit like that.
3 plates?
Yeah, 3 plates.
Mate, that's the dream.
Yeah. But I mean, it was obsessive. I would like go to the gym for like 4 hours. I'd like stretch for 45 minutes. Shit like that.
Fuck. Do you think you then now associate the gym with fucking 4 hours at the gym rather than driving?
Yeah, that was a part of why I didn't want to do it, because I was like, I don't want to get into that bag of worms.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's too much.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't have the time for that, And now I'm like, when I'm at the gym, I'll do a workout, but I do it super quick. I'm just like high intensity, like just hitting like, the main things that need to be hit. And like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's the same thing, It's exactly the same thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just do the reps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like everything in life is just doing the right reps, like making sure you're doing reps in all the right spots. And if you do that, like maybe you don't hit burnout. Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
We'll see.
So during COVID, I had a kind of conversation with myself as well. It was actually, I can't remember when it was, but it was, I'm a big believer in kind of values, behaviors, kind of North Star and goals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously in like one of my top 10 values when I think about fitness and discipline, I was basically drinking way too much and eating way too much shit.
Right.
So when I started to question like the values that I had, because it's like the incongruent, right? It's like, well, if these are your values, and this is what you do,
so
there's a cognitive dissonance here. It's like maybe that's why you're not kind of pushing as much as you can.
Yeah.
So it was one of those conversations like, if I believe that fitness is like one of my main values, when I look around at my environment, what proves that is one of my top values?
For sure.
And then because of COVID, I didn't have a gym membership to go to or anything like that. And I was like, there's nothing. So on the spot, I bought a gym from Decathlon. So if you look,
No way.
if you look on my balcony,
Yeah.
I've got like a squat rack and all the weights and all that kind of stuff.
Holy
And
crap.
it cost me $400.
What?
Yeah,
No way.
it was cheap. It was like cheap relative to personal health and
Yeah,
like
for sure. Yeah.
And
And that's the thing that people need to realize, right?
And I wasn't here. I was living in a house.
Yeah.
And I said to the missus, she's good to be fair. I was like, I'm gonna buy this.
Yeah.
Can I put it here? She's like, sure. So I was fortunate enough in the house that I was living in. I was renting it from a friend of mine who gave me
Right.
super cheap rent on it as well.
Right.
Thanks, Nick. We moved the dining room. So it was like an open plan. So our dining room then became the gym. So the squat rack had everything
No
in there.
way.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Because then when I looked around, I was like, well, if these are my values, then this is the thing that
Yeah.
means that. It's like, okay.
And that's that clarifying belief, right? The
Yeah.
same thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I want to be a millionaire, but I don't put the Reds in.
Yeah.
It's like the cognitive dissonance that you live in that hell, that version of hell.
Yeah. So it's when I started to kind of dig into these values and like, okay, where do I want to go?
Yeah.
It just makes for an easy decision.
And it sucked at first, right? Because you're like, oh, do I have to?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, actually, now I feel so much more congruent.
It's like, yeah, well, there's the gym. That's what I do. Now I'm
Yeah.
going to use it. So any kind of decisions, I mean, it sounds super easy or super simple. It's like, if something isn't aligned with where you want to go, who you want to be, how you want to operate, well, I'm not going to do that thing.
Yeah.
Like whether that's joining a company, leaving a company, taking on a client, working with somebody.
Yeah.
It just makes life decisions much easier when you kind of understand what you stand for.
Yeah.
And you can start to associate with those people that kind of are of a similar mindset. And I think that's why I was like really excited to have a conversation with you.
Oh, really?
Not to say that we got a similar mindset, because unfortunately you are a few, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 points higher on the IQ spectrum for me, and like obviously you do a lot of different things, but it's like
You see me talk the talk, not walk the walk. So.
this is it.
Yeah.
But then obviously with DocuAsk and then the things that you do, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, he's doing something right. Momentary break. Do. We were on DocuAsk and we were talking about all the good shit, making decisions, vision, mission, values. Do you actually have these written down, by the way?
So recently, so I've got like a business coach,
Mm.
who's pretty cool. I should shout him out. His name is Ben Bagg. So if you guys are looking for a business coach, you should check him out. He's a cool guy.
Cool.
It's kind of like business therapy almost, you know.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like, you know how you're saying like I've got to unpack some stuff.
Yeah.
In some ways, this is sort of like scratching that itch a little bit, because I just know that when I talk to people about like my business stuff, they just don't care, you know. And it's not because they're bad people.
Mm.
It's just because you sort of just don't care about stuff that other people are doing sometimes, you know. You care about it a bit when like, you feel like you can help them, but like you don't care to the point where you're like, let me like solve all your problems for you. And I've got so many problems. So it's like, I think
that's part and parcel of being a human being.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's super hard, I think, to like offload sometimes, especially when people don't really understand the vibes. So I've got some entrepreneur friends who really get it, you know.
Yeah.
They understand what it means when like, you just feel like it's just such a crazy experience. Not to sort of like detract from or like say that anyone else's experience is like less crazy, because I could never know, right? But I certainly feel like mine is super crazy, you know what I mean? And so being able to like talk to someone and like have those conversations where it's like, they kind of know your business, and like they have to sort of sit there and like, give you some feedback for like at least an hour.
Yeah.
This kind of thing. It's sort of nice, and I can sort of like unload like some of this stuff, and I think that kind of helps with decision making, because the truth is that I think that the answer is usually there. Like you said, like you already knew that you had this like heart for fitness and like you wanted to be like this kind of person.
Yeah.
But it was just a matter of figuring out how to remove the incongruence, right?
Yeah.
How to reach that situation. And from an external observer's perspective, typically it's pretty obvious, right? How many times have you been sitting there like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's so obvious. Like, just go to the gym and stop like binge drinking, dude. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
Like if I was sitting across the table from you and I looked at your life, I could easily say something like that.
Yeah.
But like as an individual, like making that decision is so hard for a variety of different reasons, right? Too close to the problem and all kinds of stuff like that. And I think the same can be said for most business problems too, where it's like it's obvious that like if you don't hire people that you like and that you've vetted to be a part of your company, you're gonna have a shit time. You know, it's so abundantly obvious and clear.
And that's
but we don't realize that
yeah,
at the time,
yeah.
you know?
I think you're right. I think you have like the blinkers or the blinds on. You're so in the weeds that you
For sure.
you miss these things. I
Yeah.
think that is it. You're right. I think that is the power of a coach.
Yeah.
It's just like you already have the answer.
Yeah.
All you need to do is maybe sit down and have like half an hour, 45 minutes
Yeah.
for somebody to say, "What are you going to do?" And like, "Oh, well, I'll do this." It's
Yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And it's like you don't even need to necessarily have the right answer. You just need to have the right recourse, you know?
Yeah.
Do this, and then if it does this, do this. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and if it does that, do that. You know what I mean?
It's like this pattern. It's
Yeah.
like, okay.
And like most of the time, the issue that we face is that we are paralyzed in, you know, indecision.
Yeah.
We're like sitting there like, oh, I don't know what to do. And like,
Yeah.
you sit there for, you know, you can sit there forever in that paralysis.
You know, and it was good. Like when we first started having this conversation, it's like how you decided to move to KL, right?
Mhm.
And it seems like the way you think is like, well, what if it goes right,
Yeah,
rather than what if it goes wrong.
for sure.
You're like this optimist. It's like, okay, well, this is everything that's going to go right. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Rather than, well, what if it all goes wrong? What if this? What if this? What if this? And all of a sudden you got this analysis paralysis, and then you don't do anything.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, I think that like more than it being me, the reason why I called them the pivotal moments as
Yeah.
well is because it's like an external force was acting on me at the time.
Right.
My friend came and he was like, dude, let's do this. It wasn't even me being like, dude, I want to do this. He sort of like came to me unprompted and was like, dude, let's do this. And I was like, that's exactly what I was looking for. You know what I mean? Like, that's so perfect.
Do you believe in this idea of manifestation?
Kind of. To
I mean,
some degree.
there's a reason your friend came to you
Yeah.
and said this.
Yeah. And I mean, is that manifestation or like sort of like minute, like, you know, like his like minute pattern matching and reasoning capabilities and stuff like that? I think probably maybe they're one and the same, right? You know?
I think your behaviors, your actions, the
Yeah.
conversations you had with him led him to believe that you were the right person to ask.
Yeah,
rather
exactly.
than- I mean, it's not like he was going to ask me or someone else, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's definitely true. But I don't know if I would necessarily call that manifesting. But I think that there are moments where you're like, whoa, like how that, like there's no logical explanation for that, you know?
Yeah.
Like with him asking me, it's like, okay, maybe I communicated it to him through like like a series of micro expressions and like blah, 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 you know, whatever. But if it's like, you know, truly there is no explanation, maybe you could say that is manifestation, but maybe it's like just like random like happenstance, you know? Like, you know, it's hard to say which.
You know that idea, the harder you work, the luckier you get?
Yeah. So I definitely believe in that.
Yeah.
100%.
So you've had 3 pivotal moments so far.
Yeah, I mean, that I've identified. Yeah, I'm sure I've had many more, but these are the ones that I sort of think about. Like if I think maybe one day I'll sort of like, you know, write a memoir or something like that. These are ones that...
This can be part of it if you want.
Yeah,
You can use a transcript.
And then I had the conversation with Greg.
And it all fell apart.
Yeah.
You know, when you think about your pivotal moments, you were talking about this kind of mesh or mosaic of... You know, where did this idea come from for these, like... This idea of, like, mosaics, like this pattern?
Oh, that's a good question. Where did it come from?
Because I've never heard it before. Of
Really?
all, like, the self-development or, like, whatever books I've read or listened to, podcasts, I've never come across this concept.
I'm certain that it's like not unique and like that it's like derivative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like somewhere. But so part of it probably is like the you know, like the book, right? The Alchemist that I obsessed over for a long time. Like his story is very chaotic and crazy, and like it seems like he has a very specific and like high conviction like version of the story.
Yeah.
But in moments he shifts his understanding immediately onto another, and so like this idea of being able to shift the frame, the frame of understanding to something that is serving your purpose, serving your goal. I think this is very interesting to me. I think this is a very, very core part of like the way that I look at the world, because at the end of the day we are objective driven. It's like I want to do this, and so I think this, and it's the same reason why the dude from LinkedIn is like, I'm not going to listen to these guys, because it's like I want this, and so I'm going to shift the frame to ignore these people even though I'm very data driven. I will ignore this data because of the frame that I'm choosing for the objective, for the path that I'm headed towards. And the implication of that is that the frame is a lens for the greater mosaic, right?
Yeah.
The frame is a version of truth that you choose to believe amongst the global objective truth, which could not be understood by anyone. And that's why I think, these are two sort of different things, where it's like I choose to believe the truth, and maybe I'm cognizant of it, but I'm not so cognizant of it that I'm afraid to believe it, in the sense where it's like, I know this is a lie that I'm telling myself, so I can't really go both feet in.
Right.
But I know at the same time that my version of truth is not the truth. It's like just a lens on top of this huge thing,
It is a really interesting way to look at it. I think just in terms of the lens, because you mentioned about Reid Hoffman as well, right? The lens that you choose, or the lens that you choose to make that decision.
Yeah.
It's like the idea of second guessing that, or
Right.
like questioning it. Like, how do you know?
Yeah.
I suppose in the grand scheme of things, you don't really know unless it's intuition.
Right.
And like, how do you know your intuition?
Yeah, exactly.
Well?
It's such a catch-22, right?
Yeah.
And I think the truth is that, again, this comes back to the similar idea where, let's say 20 years down the line, I'm like a billionaire or something like that,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to look back and I'm going to say, this happened and then this happened and then this happened.
Yeah.
And I always knew this, you know what I mean? I'm going to say that. But is that an accurate representation of the truth? I don't think so. You know what I mean? Every billionaire or every person who's done whatever, or I mean, not even every person in the world, right?
Yeah.
They have this recollection of how things happened, chronologically speaking, or whatever. That they tell themselves this story, and this is how it played out, and this is why I did this and that. These stories, but are they actually true? I mean, not really, right?
Because we're terrible at remembering things,
Yeah.
so they're an interpretation of what we thought happened at the time.
Yeah, and colored by the meaning that we derived the action from, right? You know what I mean? It's like, and then he said this to me, and so I did this. You know what I mean? But you could sort of flip that script, and it's sort of, again, abundantly obvious that the other dude has a totally different recollection of the exact same events, and so it implies the existence of this larger truth, which we are framing things onto.
It's such an interesting concept for where you're at right now, this moment in time.
Yeah.
Whatever time is. I'm not going to get into that.
That's funny.
I've heard this concept in terms of themes and chapters of your story, or your life book, so to speak. Have you got an idea of what's this? How would you coin this chapter of your life at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think that really this chapter of my life is very much I'm nobody, and I'm earning my place. And so that's what it feels like. And so even if I take sort of somewhat inequitable deals, or things that maybe people say value yourself, charge, don't do that shit for free, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Even if I take deals like that, I think that in this moment in my life, it's worth it for me, because I don't have any responsibilities other than feeding myself, which, as you can see, I don't have any issues with.
I think you're
okay. I don't have these things, these immovable objects in my life that I need to make considerations for yet. And so I think that this is it's the reps bit, the prove myself bit, and hopefully once I feel, I don't know if I'll really ever feel that I've really proved myself. I'm not sure, but I think that maybe the next stage would, I think the only next stage that I can really imagine is okay, I'm settled now, let me try and get other people on the path that I was on, which is that they can believe in themselves, they can do stuff, and I want to give them situations where they feel they can put the reps in and they're not screwing themselves over, they're not getting these horrible deals. And maybe those would be sort of the two broad chapters that I can imagine.
It's interesting to kind of observe this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Prove yourself to who is one.
Me.
I mean, and then what does that actually look like? Because if you want to create a platform for people to help prove themselves in the market and prove their worthiness in the market, isn't that exactly what you've done with AI Tinkerers?
I think it's sort of like a not necessarily a sequential thing.
Yeah.
As in, right now I have some space, like some platform.
Yeah.
And like immediately once I had the platform, I'm like trying to give it to people. You know, like
Right.
please come and like, you know, like part of that tinkerer journey is like you come, you try something, you realize you're good, and then now I'm realizing that the next step is, hey, I know you're good, even if you don't fully believe it yet. I'm gonna platform you and I'm gonna show the world how awesome you are, and because of that, you're gonna be like, whoa, I am good, you know. And like this is the crucial step that I've missed up until this point, or maybe I've done it by accident here and there, but not cognizantly, not confident and like purposefully done that. And so, you know, as soon as you have a resource, you have to be, you know, giving it back to the, because I mean the tinkerers are why this is happening, right? You know what I mean? Like they are the reason, they are like all of it. And so I think it's not going to be linear in the sense that it's like, okay, now I've made it, tick, and then it's like, now how do I give back? You know, it's like, I don't think it's going to be like that necessarily. But I think there will come a time where I'm doing more giving than fighting, if that makes sense. I'll be like right now I'm like fighting, trying to make a place for myself. And then slowly the balance will shift to a point where I'm fighting less and giving more, because there's more resources that I have available to me that I can share.
What's that look like, that balance shift? When do you reckon that tipping point comes?
I think it'll come slowly and like very, very sort of like imperceptibly.
Yeah.
But when does it come? I guess it comes along with like the resources that I have available to me, right? Okay. So it's like if, for example, I found a company and like we take it to like a level which is awesome, and like that company, whatever resources we have to like host events or to do things for people or to contribute to the community, we'll try and do that if I have anything to say about it, right? And also if I amount to some material wealth, I will do the same thing, you know? I'll be like giving to people and like trying to create spaces for people where they can build and they can, you know, do that stuff, which I think, yeah.
Dude, I'm laughing because this is what you're doing now.
no, but like it's not the right degree, you know what I mean? It's not the right degree. And I do way more fighting than I do giving, if that makes sense.
What is the fighting part?
The fighting, yeah, I guess maybe, I don't know if that's the right word for it, but by fighting I mean like I'm like in the proving ground. I'm like, you know, like I'm like, I gotta do this, I gotta eat shit.
Yeah.
You know, like this is what I would categorize as the fighting. And like this is we're sort of encroaching on territory where I haven't really thought these things out loud. So I might say stuff which is like later on I'll be like, oh, I can't believe I said that. That's so stupid.
We'll just censor it all.
Yeah, exactly. But it feels like the fighting is very selfish, like self-centric, where it's like, I want to make a place for me, you know, like at the top, or, you know, I feel like maybe somewhat egotistically that I could be a voice that is beneficial to the scene as a whole, to tech in Malaysia as a whole, or even regionally as a whole. So I want to fight so that I can get that seat. And once I have that seat, that resource, that influence, and that, you know, that stuff, then the giving is figuring out how we can like sort of like contribute to like all of the things that are bringing everything up together, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. I'm just curious about if that was going to happen today. How could you start?
How could I do that?
I mean, it sounds very similar to what you're doing right now.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think that like what I'm doing is a micro scale of what I want to do. You know what I mean? So like,
but it's trajectory, right? So it's like this trajectory that you're actually on. It's like
right, exactly. And so the same way that like when I first went to the gym, I was doing the micro version of like what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
But it happened slowly. Yeah. If I had just been like, okay, I'm gonna go and do like a 3-hour workout, I'd be like, oh fuck, you know, I can't do this. Yeah. And in the same way, if I go out now and I'm like, guys, like, you know, I just invested 10K into this hackathon, like, let's build something together. It's not for a company, it's just like for you guys to build something cool, and I want to like do something awesome. Like, I'd be broke pretty quick. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And so like what it is that just the stakes get higher. You know, the stakes are more, the amount of resources, the amount of like value that I can provide at that time. And also not only like, oh, I'm rich, now I can give you guys money. But it's also like, at that point, I will have honed my craft to a point where I'm so much more intelligent and I'm capable of so much more intellectual charity or intellectual, you know, contribution than I am now. I mean, like, I'm rather, you know, egotistically, I think that I'm pretty good at what I do, but I will be so much better, you know. And like, there's so many people that I've met along the way who I'm like in complete awe of because of all of the experience and like, you know, all of the things that they've bestowed upon me, like, you know, really graciously. And, you know, I'm so grateful because I'm like, holy crap, like, I can't wait till I'm like just as experienced as you so that I can give the versions of me the same experience that you've just given me. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. So again, it's an interesting thing to kind of look on and observe. You ever heard of the book Making of a Manager?
I have not.
It's by Julie, I think it's Julie Zhao.
Okay.
I might butcher that name. But she basically documented her process of becoming a manager I think it was in Facebook. And it's strange because what you've described in terms of the people that are gracious enough to give you their time and their energy and their effort, it's exactly what you're giving to people that are on a similar path to you just a few years earlier.
Right.
So it's like, well, you're already given all this stuff, like exponentially more than it would have got if you weren't around. So it's already enough.
I mean, I don't think so.
because what you've seen.
Yeah. So I'm giving everything that I can give.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't think that I like can give more, or, you know, like, you know what I mean?
You're maxed out.
But like,
as you get better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I get better, I'll be able to give more. And
Yeah.
then eventually, like I'll have more bandwidth to give more, so I'll be able to give even more. So like I would say there's like let's distinguish things in this way. So there is like the underlying capability to give, which means that like if I put in X hours of giving, the outcome of that X hours will be N like units of stuff, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know
and
what you
so
mean.
like my efficiency of giving right now is at like some value, and that will increase. But also the amount of time, the number of hours that I can put into that function will also increase, because I'm more okay, as in more stuff is abstracted from me. More people are doing the things that like maybe I was doing now, like all of the email outreach, all of the design stuff.
Yeah.
And so I can put more of my effort into that function where more hours increase as well. So it'll be more efficient and a higher absolute amount. If that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense.
Yeah.
It does. Just wondering what that would actually look like. If there's a Monday at 10 a.m., is that the moment that you've made it?
Yeah. Well, I wonder. I don't think that I'll really feel like I've walked through that door. In the same way that today, I never feel like I've walked through a door.
Right.
Even if, you know, months earlier, or, you know, I've sort of like prayed and like hoped for that thing to happen.
Yeah.
I never am like, made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm always just like still thinking about the next thing, which is a bit of a curse, but it's a blessing as well.
It is. 6 people at the first one, then Prompt Olympics was however many, and then all the other events like are ongoing.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's crazy, right?
You're gonna have to. I don't know. I don't want to put thoughts in your head, but a bit of self-compassion, man. Like, it's like,
no, I mean the thing is, I'm super happy. Like it
Yeah.
might sound that I'm super self-critical, but
a little bit.
I just know that I'm not there yet, and
Yeah.
I think that more than being self-critical, it's just me being like so big-headed. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do.
It's like it's not because I'm like, no, you're not good enough. It's because I'm thinking, no, you're too good for this. As in like you have more ahead of you. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Rather than like not good enough. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So AITinkerers, what's next for the community?
So I think a big thing that's on my mind is what I just spoke about just now.
Yeah.
Which is that the journey of a tinkerer is like, first it's like uncertain, you know, very orbital.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what I'm doing necessarily.
Yeah.
And then it's like maybe I am courageous enough to attend as an observer.
Yeah.
And then after that it's maybe I'm courageous enough to try. And then, you know, maybe by the third or the second or the third session of trying, it's like you start to believe, you know. And I feel like how this physically manifests itself is like this spark in the eyes. And I've seen it. Like I've seen people who are like, whoa, like, you know, I had no idea I could do this. And I'm like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? It's like such a great feeling. And the next thing that I'm really focusing on is how do I take that guy who just had that spark and put him on a platform and say, look at this guy who just had that spark.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like another carrot for those orbital folks.
Right.
Who are like, oh my gosh, like I see myself in him because he doesn't have any experience either, and look at where he is. And so it's like more of this gravitational force towards the center of this.
What's that platform look like?
So right now it's a simple conception.
Yeah.
The platform is, hey, we just had a hackathon and you worked for 8 hours and you were awesome. Come and present that to like a room full of investors, or come and present that to a room full of your peers.
Yeah.
And show off just how awesome you are, because I don't want this to be in some basement somewhere where it's like, okay, you want the hack on, here's money, like get out of my sight. You know, like that's not what I want it to be. I want it to be like, dude, you're so cool. Like you won the money, which is what I wanted to give you anyway. But also, like, I'd love for you to come and show everyone else like how easy it is for you to do that. Like, you know, like, and bring other people along with it on this journey. So it's like, it's almost like creating more of what I'm trying to do for myself.
Yeah.
But like creating this sort of like self actualizing. I don't know what to call it. But like, you know, like almost like yeah, like a system which does the same thing. You
it's
know
just
what I
like this ongoing process, this whole, it's like the mechanics of it.
Yeah,
so you bring people in, it's like, oh, I've got no idea. You driving past the gym,
Yeah.
I'll just go and observe. I'll just check it out.
Right.
Because as you were talking about it, I was like, maybe I'll go along.
Right. Exactly. Right.
You know, actually, now you're talking about it, you know, maybe I'll just pop along, just to feel the vibe, feel the energy in the room, see what's happening down there.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll go along to another one.
Yeah. And you see people that you identify with.
Yeah.
And they're standing at the front of the room. You know what I mean? And you're
Yeah.
standing at the back of the room, you know, like with like a trench coat on or something. You know what I mean?
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Just a trench coat.
Yeah, and like sunglasses. Yeah. And like, you know, you're kind of like, whoa, you know, and that's kind of the experience that we want to make, or I want to make.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I want to do more of the people that you identify with being celebrated, because I don't think we're doing that enough.
Why are you so passionate about this?
I don't know, man. I just love it, dude.
I know. Well, I can see it. You fucking love it.
Yeah. I love people.
Yeah.
First and foremost,
Yeah.
I love people. I think that, I mean, like, why are we here, right? You know, like, people are just awesome, and like, you know, talented, and I hate talented people who don't give themselves enough credit. You get what I mean? Like talented, intelligent, awesome people who are sitting there thinking like, oh, I'm not good enough. It's like, bro, you are so much better than me.
Yeah.
And I have this like self-belief that just drives me, because I think that I'm good enough. And like, I know you're good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know it in my heart of hearts. And so that drives me, like shifting that thing where it's like, dude, come on. You know, you're awesome. Like, you know, believe it. You know what I mean?
Just being the non-devil on the shoulder, just like,
yeah,
I'm going to help you overcome your imposter syndrome.
Right, exactly. Because it's like, you never... So there's two things that I think. It's like, you will never, ever, like, be like, oh, man, I wish I never did that. You know what I mean? It's always like, oh, like on the deathbed, it's like, oh, I wish I had just had the courage to do that one day, right? And then there's the other thing where it's like, nobody ever is sitting there in their life being like, oh, I'm so glad that I got ice cream cake on my birthday. It taught me so much. You know, like, nobody ever has uttered that statement before. And so it's the combination of these two things. Do it, and also it's going to suck, and that's a really good thing. Like, it's such a good thing that it sucks, because like...
You took a shot.
Yeah, you're going to look back on it, and you're going to be like, dude, that taught me so much, regardless of if it's successful. You're like, I never learned so much than when I was just, you know, trying this thing that I love.
I talk about cringe moments.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. I've told this story a few times. I was when I was back working at Super.
Yeah.
This was years ago, I think 2017, 2018. AWS asked one non-technical person to give a talk on how the platform was built at Super.
Okay.
So Mark, the CEO, was like, hey, Greg, you can do it. So I had to go down to the AWS Summit in Singapore and give a talk on how our platform was built.
Was this Super Hands time or Super time?
Super Hands time.
Okay.
Early days.
Okay.
So our head of engineering at the time, a guy called Mosen, and a few other people were schooling me on everything technical.
Okay.
Then I could explain it in a business way.
Yeah.
And it was like a crash course. I don't know how long I had, but what I did know was I didn't get it.
Okay.
So then
you knew that at the time?
I knew that at the time.
And you were like, fuck.
I just don't get it. I'm not getting this. Something is it.
Oh, no.
And I'm telling myself this story, and they're trying to school me on it.
Yeah.
And I went down to Singapore to give this talk. By the way, the talk that I gave when AWS invited me up on stage, it was 7 minutes.
Okay.
It was only 7 minutes.
Okay.
So I got over to the event. I can't remember where it was at, but there was seats for like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
For the one stage, it was kind of split into four. And I got down there. I was on my own, so I apparently had 3 interviews as well for like PR purposes. And
Okay. They interviewed you before the talk?
Yeah, before the talk.
Oh, sorry, PR interviews. I thought it was like a are you ready for this talk kind of interview. I was like, what does that mean?
No, it's just like some like PR pieces, and I don't think I did a good job of those either. And then, then we were kind of getting all mic'd up and all this kind of stuff. And I remember taking all these notes, and I was stressing like nothing else.
Okay.
If you say, hey, go and talk about sales development or cold calling on stage right now, I'll be like, cool, how long have I got? 3 hours, done.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, I'm short on time. And I think this was 7 minutes. And then I was like, so I remember I got to the event, and I was like, I'm just going to review my notes again. I was like, fuck. And I didn't have my notes on me. I'd left them back in the hotel.
Oh.
So I got a grab from the event back to the hotel, and I picked up my notes, and I sat on the bed. And I was like, I'm not going back.
No way.
I'm not going back. And as I'm saying I'm not going back, I'm already booking a grab to get in a grab and go back. And I went back. Okay. And there was a picture somewhere, and I remember taking this picture. And what I'd done, I'd taken my notes, and I'd written the notes, the key things, on my hands. And then I'd use my left hand to write it on this side. Because I thought when I was on stage, what I can do, I can hold my hands like this, and be like, and as a prompt to...
Yeah.
And I'm sat at the front, and I can't remember her name. Her name begins with an M, and she invites me up on stage.
Yeah.
And the fear going through me. Talk about pivotal moments. I was I was pissing sweat, and like all the words had run on my hand. I couldn't read shit, and I'm like sat in the middle, and then she calls me up on stage, and I'm walking up on stage. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I'm gonna fuck it up. I don't want to be here. 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 Hey, thanks for coming. And I'm like, blah 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 blah, and I can't remember anything about it. And it was just like, it was a clusterfuck from what I remember, and I can't even remember what I said. And I think it was just all gibberish and garbage. And then I got off stage, and it was just one of those things. I was like, I look back on it now. It was terrible. The message probably didn't land. I don't think anyone got any value from it.
Yeah.
But I didn't die. I basically got myself back up and went to the hotel, came back, like overcome these small obstacles to still go up on stage and still fucking do it.
Yeah. And that's awesome.
And so
that's such a win, right?
And for me, that was such a massive win, and I was so tired afterwards, just for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
And it's crazy that we as humans have this transcendent ability, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like everything in your body is telling you no, and you're like, yes. You know what I mean? Like, it's insane.
And I use weird because like, I'm not gonna do it, and I'm walking up on stage, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna, like, fight, and you just like combat in this fight or flight kind of thing. It's like, fucking hell. It's just a weird moment. It's one of those things like, just overcoming that adversity.
For sure, man.
And that's,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say and one of the things like coming away from that is like, I want to be able to tell people that story.
For sure.
It's just like, it doesn't matter if you're scared. Just fucking do the thing anyway. Yes. What's the worst that can happen? So to your point, it's like, well, you want to push people. It's like, oh, I'm fearful, I'm scared, I'm not good enough. And you're just like, just, dude, you got this.
Yeah.
Just fucking go and do it.
And now that you say it like that, it sort of, I think about the times where, like, these important pivotal moments, they are someone coming to be a catalyst for me, right? Yeah. And by the same token, I want to be a catalyst for people. Mm. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not like so life-changing that, like, they remember it forever, but it just brings them from a point of no action to like a very, very small sort of like point of potential action, And
it's weird, these small things are game changers for people, and people think, oh, look at these guys, they've got it all figured out. It's like, no, we do hard shit, and it's terrifying.
Just a little bit. That's it. Yeah, just
we just fucking get on with it anyway. We just do the thing anyway, and then we'll either learn something, or it'll turn out okay. Yeah, but sure. whatever it is going to make a good story. And it's just like, exactly. I just remember those hands, and I saw them. I was like, fuck.
I was waiting for the silver lining, and it just wasn't coming.
The only silver lining from it is a story I get to tell after the fact.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a recording out there. But if there is a recording out there, which there probably is, I've never seen it.
Yeah, and you hope to never see it.
I hope to never see it. But there's some great pictures out there. Like me walking up on stage, I've got like this blue jacket on, my Super Hands t-shirt, like all mic'd up, and I'm like...
Yeah, no one would know.
And it makes me laugh because when I look at those pictures and I go back to the feeling that I had, and then I look at all the other pictures of people that are up on stage or on LinkedIn or anything like that, in my head I'm like, We know.
Yeah.
We know.
Like, how many of those people had the same experience?
Exactly.
Right? Like,
Exactly.
To a surface observer, it's like,
Man. It's cool. It's cool to learn about this whole idea behind AI tinkerers. What should I have asked you that I didn't ask you for today? Do you reckon?
I don't know, man. I think we covered a lot of ground. I don't think there's anything that I don't feel remiss at all. I think this is we covered some good stuff. I think we could definitely have a couple more conversations and like talk about a bunch more.
I would love to.
Other stuff,
I think it'd be really good to like. I think we spoke about it before. Even if an AI tinkerers event or like a separate event where it's just like pure open Q&A, kind of like your journey and all that. Because I think these guys that are coming along to this they can get so much value from you to hear like this kind of story as well. Because they're gonna look at you like a fucking superhuman, dude. They just are. They're gonna be like, he's built his company, he's running this, he's made it.
The crazy thing is that like I've never really shared with like the guys at AITinkers like how much it means to me. You know what I mean? Like they see me and I'm like jokey and like jovial and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like actually it means so much to me. You know, like to have the blessing of being able to like, be in a position to like help out and like show stuff.
Yeah.
Like I just think like it's such a blessing, and like I don't make that clear enough. I think like there isn't enough messaging around that. Like like yeah. I mean, you saw today like it makes me emotional, like how much I care about it.
Yeah.
And like it's a funny thing because like I'm like in two minds about things. Like who I am like socially is like but like under the surface I'm like I care so deeply about like this thing.
And this is the whole purpose of these conversations. People see the surface, but they don't really see behind the scenes.
Yeah, 100%.
So with that, with whether that's DocuAsk or with AI Tinkerers, where can we find?
So if you want to find AI Tinkerer stuff, it's at links links.aitkl.com. You can get everything there. So our Instagram, like all of our socials, and also like our event schedule. And then for DocuAsk, it's docuask.ai. You can just Google DocuAsk.
DocuAsk.
That's the one.
I love it. One final thing, you got a personal website as well?
Yeah.
If people want to make a cringe-worthy LinkedIn post, they can find LinkedIn influencer on your site, right?
Yeah. It's josephch.in.
I fucking love it. Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers.
This has been the Mind'em podcast. Thank you so much for listening. It was my goal to give you as much value as possible, and I hope you've got that from this one. Question for you, based on what you heard, how will you think differently, and what will be the next best action step that you can take? If you'd like to be a guest or simply like to have a conversation with myself and the team, feel free to reach out on any of our social channels. Go forth, be awesome, make a difference. Peace out.